What's up, world? It's your boy DJ47. Thanks for tuning in to our YouTube page. If you like what you see, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to us as we hit you with new videos every week. 1.
You're now listening to the sounds of KDPG Radio. Keep the party going.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's your boy DJ47 alongside with the K, the U, the R, the T. It's Kurt. It's Kurt.
Damn straight. What's
You know, it's another episode
on,
of the WEW Podcast. It's been a long time. Last time I saw you was last year. Ha 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 ha.
Yep.
Yes, this is episode.
It's been about 4 months since we did this.
Yeah, I think that we're on episode 8 or 9 right now. I mean, even though it's been a while, I mean, we stacking up the chips and it's going up, and it's 2021. First of all, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
Yeah. You know, hopefully we have a better outcome this year than last. You know, even though we figured something out to stay positive with this whole podcast, but you know, all we got to do is try to go up.
Sure.
So before we even started, tell us about your 2020. How was that experience?
Well, in all honesty, I can't say that it was a good year because obviously with the shutdowns and pretty much our whole lives being taken away from us, it was definitely not something I had in mind. But at the same time, I can't say it was the worst year I ever had. There were good things that came out of it, such as doing podcasts like this one and my 2 other ones that I host. And also,
what are the name of the 2 other ones?
Well, one is called Spark It Up. It used to be called Smoke Sessions, but we just recently changed the name of it to Spark It Up. And we've been doing that for about 9 months. And also my other podcast is known as Clash of Champions, and I've been doing that for about the same amount of time. Right. And that one's the wrestling related one where we talk about wrestling and also sports, specifically the NBA.
That's on Clash of Champions.
Clash of Champions, that is right. I actually recorded that today.
And the Smoke Session, which you just changed your name, what is that podcast about?
Spark It Up, it's basically we spark up ideas, we spark up debates, and we spark up marijuana.
I want to get high, so high.
Yeah, so we just talk about basically anything that's going on in the world while we smoke weed and just, you know, give a different perspective on things going on in the world that you don't really see often on the mainstream media or really on Facebook and as far as the PC culture goes. Yeah. We speak out a lot against that. The PC culture is basically the right to censor.
Oh, the wrestling group you're talking about? You threw a little jab there?
Yeah, the right to censor. Yeah, like this whole PC culture shit where like they're trying to force everybody to think the same and act the same. This is some shit right out of right to censor.
Yeah.
I'm sure they freaking like took notes back then so they could come back 20 years later and do the shit that they're doing now.
Yeah, I know this is a wrestling podcast that we do, and I enjoy it every time we do it. Which kind of involves with wrestling because you seen what happened at with Donald Trump with the whole. They didn't go to the White House. They went to the Senate, I believe it was.
Capitol.
The Capitol.
I thought it was the White House too, but it was actually the Capitol.
And my funny story about that is, you know, I barely go on Twitter, and I decided every so often to go in because that's how I check my news. I just go to see what's trending, and that's what's going on in the world, right? And as soon as I go on, I see Mick Foley writes, at Vince McMahon, please take this guy off of the Hall of Fame. I'm like,
Hall of Fame.
I'm like, who the hell is he talking about? Then you see Gail Kim like, yes, at Vince McMahon. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, I have an idea about Trump, but I'm like, I'm searching, trying to find out what's going on. And then I find out it's about Trump. And then I believe I sent you the text where it was like, you know, why you unsubscribing to the WWE network. And then a couple of days later, I talked to a friend of mine, and he's like, you didn't see what was going on and all? And I'm like, oh, that's why Mick Foley is so heated and ran and want this guy off the hall. I just thought he just didn't like him and he was a bad president. I didn't know all this chaos was going on. I'm so late behind of everything.
Yeah, it's always Trump this and Trump that every fucking day, every fucking minute. And not that I'm saying that he's a good guy, and I'm not that I'm saying that he doesn't deserve to be shitted on, but it's just when you spend so much time talking about him and obsessing about him and tweeting about him and sharing his statuses, it's like you're giving this dude exactly what he wants to make himself irrelevant and make himself be noticed and to make himself popular, whether positively or negatively. And it's just getting to the point now where, like, anytime I hear something about Trump, this and that, I just fucking say, okay, cool, whatever, next subject.
Well,
but admittedly so, he is an asshole. Admittedly so, he is a dumb fuck, and he's definitely done some foul shit where he deserves to be shitted on the way he's getting shitted on. But certain things are just, there's only so much time you can give to the negative shit out there in the world, and him being one of those things, I just try to give it as little of my time as possible because there's too much good shit out there to be focused on to give that time to this dude.
I completely agree with you. That's what I've been saying that for the last 4 years. I said, honestly, the more stuff I hear about Trump was always through the people who hated Trump, opposed to the people who did like Trump, and that's what I've been hearing for the last 4 years. And I'm like, well, I mean, if you just catering to his ego, whether you love him or hate him, the more you talk about him, you're just catering to his ego. If you shut the fuck up, then you watch, he'll pout and cry, but he'll disappear. But they chose not to. They chose to stroke his ego by talking either good or bad, and look at the chaos that came about it. Couple more days,
yeah,
huh?
It's madness. And just the way everybody behaved this whole election season, and with the whole vote shaming and the bickering and the arguing, it's just ridiculous, and it's just such a turnoff. And that's why, like, I've maintained for the last few years that whole two-party bullshit and the electoral college bullshit just really has to go. Because if we actually live in a real democracy where our choice matters and we actually have choices, then we should have more than two choices, and more than two choices that are shitty ones at that. And also with an electoral college that has your final say in who the president is, it's a basic spit on your face saying, well, your vote counts, but not really. It kind of counts, but it doesn't really have the final say. It's this vote that actually has the final say. And it's like, bro, how it's like a blatant insult and a blatant slap in the face to everybody. But the fact is, people just don't see it and they refuse to see it. Like, you'll explain it to them about how this entire thing works, but yet they'll still argue with everybody back and forth about who they voted for or if they didn't vote at all. And I don't have time for that shit. And it's just very disturbing to see people who would otherwise be cool and otherwise people be like, just literally make asses of themselves.
Yeah, at the end of the day, people like to argue that we can't escape that. People will like to argue, and I mean, speaking about argument, people just love to argue about wrestling as well. You know,
every fan base has its toxicness in it. Whether it's wrestling fans, whether it's NBA fans, whether it's Republicans or Democrats, whether it's Star Wars or Star Trek or Marvel movies. Every fan base has some kind of toxic trait to it.
Well, you said wrestling, then you went to NBA. Did you hear about what happened in AEW and the NBA with the tweets?
Yeah, Chris Jericho was on the show after the NBA game a couple weeks ago, and then basically everybody on the NBA Twitter page was talking shit about him, about his weight, about how he's old as fuck and he's still wrestling, and he's in a knockoff, rip-off WWE. So that's basically how that went. Today is the 29-year anniversary of the day the Rockers broke up on the barbershop.
Oh, wow. And
29 years, bro.
And I'd like to say a big salute to the queen of hip-hop and R&B. Happy birthday to Mary J. Blige.
Happy birthday, Mary J. My Life is one of the dopest albums I've ever heard.
Hell yeah. Down. Classic from start to end.
Yes. I think that might be 94 had some classic albums. I have to put that one definitely in the top 5.
95 is another classic year.
Oh, yeah, 95. I'll say my favorite album from 95 is Do or Die.
Do or Die, AZ?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. AZ is the one of the underrated artists, I believe. Mobb Deep, The Infamous was another classic that year.
Yeah, that's another year. Yeah, that's another good one from 95.
Yeah.
Trying to think of some other good ones that dropped. But
how about the year 2020 in the wrestling world? What were your highlights for 2020?
The Sasha Banks and Bayley tag team.
Oh, yeah. That was good.
Yeah. Drew McIntyre's rise in his title reign, I thought went well.
I don't know, man. I'm trying to be a fan of him, but I think he's boring, and I think he's a little corny. That's my opinion.
You don't like him wearing the kilt now?
No, that has nothing to do with it. I think his promos is not as good as people think it is. Every time I see him, I just see the corny of the what's that 3MB. I'm not saying he's doing it. It's just it's to me it's like Kofi Kingston, where it's like I'm glad you achieved the gold, but I don't feel like he's doing more. And I believe CM Punk. I think he even said the same thing. Like he's like, I guess you want to go with him, but if you like that type, I don't know. I'm not feeling him. Roman Reigns, I'm feeling all the way to the moon.
Yeah, he's like pulling off that asshole gimmick perfectly.
Yeah, and then when they were doing, you saw SmackDown on Friday.
Yeah, I saw that shit.
I believe when I already knew what the outcome was gonna be, but when I saw Shinsuke, I was like, oh, I would like to see that match, Shinsuke and Roman Reigns.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. I guess they're turning him face.
Yeah, but I like seeing him have that performance on Friday. It was nice to see the old Nakamura for a change.
Yeah. Where's Cesaro?
Maybe we'll see more of it soon. I don't know. I guess we'll find out this week. Yeah. So it looks like the Women's Royal Rumble is shaping up well, and I think I have a prediction of who might win.
Who? Becky?
I was thinking that, but I think I have another prediction that might go down.
Who's that?
Rhea Ripley is going to debut, and she could probably win the Royal Rumble. And then Charlotte, along the way, will win the title from Asuka, and then they could have the rematch from last year.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, I mean, the match last year was really good. It was one of the highlights.
Yeah, it was. And Rhea Ripley just lost to Raquel Gonzalez last week on NXT. So
I did read
match. That made it seem like she's probably moving up to the main roster.
I read that she's about to be moving up to the main roster. Well, you're talking about the women. 2020. Who's your favorite in 2020?
Sasha.
I say Bayley.
Yeah, that's fair. That's not a bad pick either. Yeah, Bayley was picked number 1 in PWI. Then
PWI. I know the Wrestling Observer. That's what you're talking about?
Not PWI, the magazine, Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
Yeah, Wrestling Illustrated. Yeah, she was rated number 1. And then I think Sasha
that and the Observer. Yeah, PWI and the Observer are two different things.
Yeah, and so she was rated number 1 on 2 different magazines.
Yeah, and then Sasha was ranked number 1 for Sports Illustrated for all wrestling for the entire year.
Yeah.
That's a fucking accomplishment. Yo, I would have never guessed that shit in a million years. But yo, I'm happy for her. She deserves it.
So she was number 1 for wrestling or women, period? In sports?
Wrestling, period. Over Drew McIntyre, over John Moxley. Yeah, she was number 1.
And honestly, she's another one to me that I like her, but I mean, I'm not really big on her anymore. I think she can't sell for nothing. Like, she doesn't sell.
You don't think Sasha can sell? Are you serious?
No, I don't. I watch.
Really?
Yeah, I watched Hell in a Cell. Watch it again. That
was my pick for Match of the Year. That was actually my Match of the Year pick.
Yeah, because of Bayley.
Because of both of them.
Bayley is my number 1. Charlotte to me is like Beyonce and Jay-Z. She's there. She's not going nowhere. She's great. She's awesome. Bayley is my number 1. I am her biggest fan right now. I want to give her a hug.
I want to give her a hug too.
I want to give her a hug because she's good. You want to give her a hug for other reasons.
Yo, I'm gonna say this one. She's at the peak of her performance, wise, and she's at a peak as far as fineness too. That like short haircut is fucking looking good on her.
Yeah, in the beginning, because you saw the interview with her and Stone Cold, right?
Yeah, like in the beginning, she was trying to find herself. Like,
but her face was a little puffy and all. Like right now, she's looking great, man.
Now I'm fucking loving me some Bayley.
I want her to take the time.
I wouldn't mind seeing her win the Royal Rumble.
I was going to say that
it's going to happen, but
I want her.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. I wouldn't mind seeing her win it.
Yeah, I want her to win the Rumble. I think she should get the title back. I think she's bringing. I thought she brought the title more life than what Sasha is. I mean, I'm a fan of Sasha, but man, I'm telling you, go back to and watch the Hell in a Cell match. She doesn't sell. Dude, you getting your ass whipped, chairs, sticks, cages, and then you out for 2 seconds, then all of a sudden you keep jumping and doing your high knee thing, and then you're just, it's like nothing hurts you. She can't sell.
You know what was fun? You know what was funny? That story that Bayley was telling about that night at Toronto when she was getting booed, and then when Sasha came out to hug her, Sasha whispered in her ears, "Screw these people."
Yeah.
Oh shit. Mm-hmm. That was like actually around the time those rumors were coming out about Sasha like not being fan friendly.
Oh yeah. I mean, but at the same time, I would say the same thing to you too. If you're a face and I'm your friend in the industry, it's like, come on. It's like you know how good she is, and people want to boo her. And it's, I mean, the character. Like, I was losing hope with her because I mean, I'm a grown ass man. I don't want to see the little dolls and whatever that I mean, to me, but it was for the kids, and I got it. But when she turned heel, it was like, I was like, yes. And
I was there for that show too.
Yes, you told me it was in Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's my top of all. I mean, I love Roman Reigns. And Drew, I want more out of him. I want more of the Scottish psychopath. You can still be face, but just stop being funny. Stop being funny. That's my thing. Stop being funny.
I'll say this about Drew. Match quality-wise, every match he's had at pay-per-view have been solid. All of his pay-per-view matches have been good.
What do you think of Randy Orton?
Randy had a great year, too. I think this is probably Randy's best year since probably 2013, 2014.
Oh, we were supposed to discuss the TLC, and my fault, I was all over the place.
Oh yeah, but what about the Drew McIntyre story from yesterday that he has COVID?
Oh, okay. I'm glad they said it because all year they've been trying to hide it and disguise it, and it's just be real. I mean, it felt like a lot of people might have COVID because a lot of people were not there yesterday. And
a lot of people wrestled twice. Yeah, at least 4 people wrestled twice yesterday.
The whole Hurt Business wasn't there. 2 of them, Shelton Benjamin and
Oscar wasn't there.
A lot, even Charlie.
Peyton Royce wasn't there.
Charlie wasn't there.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because I watched Raw Talk afterwards, and they had the blonde hair lady. I don't know her name on it. And
damn.
I think
that show was whack sauce though. I watched the highlights of it on YouTube. I'm like, yo, this shit is mad whack.
I don't know. I mean, okay, yeah, I wouldn't give it that much credit yesterday because I felt like, again, nobody was there, so I felt like it went blah because there was no story to tell because Goldberg came on last week, so they can't tell that story.
Oh yeah, I wanna talk about that too. That shit was wow, bro. Yo, they're really gonna go back to this dude again.
Yeah, and
oh my god.
What Drew said, I don't know if you heard the interview. What Drew said, he was like, which it hit a light bulb. That was the only title that Goldberg never won. Because remember, even when he came in 2004, he only won the world heavyweight title, and he won the universal title twice. I don't know what to say. I mean, I wouldn't have gone. I would probably like to see Goldberg versus Randy Orton, since Randy Orton was going around the whole 3 hours mocking the legends. And then here comes Goldberg coming out, calling out Drew, talking about you disrespecting the legend. Like, no, Randy Orton was. So
I'd rather see that, honestly, because Goldberg can come back, Goldberg can do a match, that's cool, but I just don't want to see him in the title picture. That's all.
Why is he always in the title picture? Undertaker comes back and he's not in the title picture.
Like that shit he did with Dolph Ziggler at SummerSlam a couple years ago, perfect. If for shit like that, perfect. Bring him back for that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was. I mean, I guess it's the running joke now that he can't have a long match, because like the WrestleMania matches, the Brock Lesnar and Drew, to me, I hated. It was horrible.
The match with Brock at Mania was good. The one at 33 was good.
No, not with Goldberg. I'm talking about last year. Drew versus Brock and Goldberg versus Braun. It was just the same move over and over and over until someone won. It makes finishers pointless now. I hate people kicking out of the finisher. That should only.
Yeah, Jim.
Go ahead.
Jim Ross was talking about that a few weeks ago about how he hates the fact that people always kick out of the DDT and always kick out of super kicks and how those moves are like meaningless now. And even the frog splash. The frog splash used to be a big deal back in the day, but now like there's at least 5 different people who do it.
Yeah, it's I know if I was wrestling, if I had the choice, I would never do my finisher unless that was towards the end. I mean, it's more exciting if you trying to put it on and the guy keeps escaping it, you know. And people kicking out of finishes on Monday Night Raw. It used to be a WrestleMania thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's like where do you go from there? So anything that you do after it was like, oh, okay. Just like again with the Hell in a Cell match with Bayley and Sasha, they threw everything but the kitchen sink, and she kicks out of everything. And I guess the finish wasn't bad. You know, she did her move with the chair, so okay. But it was like you did all that and nothing, not a scratch on you, no blood, no nothing, and you kick out of everything. It does make, you know, wrestling a lot of phoniness. It's like I said, I hate TLC. I hate Hell in a Cell, the pay-per-view itself, because you're throwing. You tell me in a regular match, like for instance, last week, Charlotte Flair, Ric Flair trips her. You know that? You seen that?
Yo, and I saw it last night too.
Yeah,
oh my God.
I want to get into that as well. But it goes, Ric Flair trips Charlotte Flair, then Peyton Royce gets the pin, she wins. So off a trip, she wins. But then again, in a Hell in a Cell, with hit by chairs and sticks and all types of, and then you kick out of that. That's what I'm getting at. It shows the phoniness of wrestling, where those things should be special. And you know, if I say I'm going to challenge you to a Hell in a Cell match, it shouldn't be a pay-per-view. It should be like, oh no, I don't want to challenge you in a Hell in a Cell. I don't want to. Now it's like three Hell in a Cells in one night. It doesn't. The Hell in a Cell doesn't feel scary and tough anymore like it once did.
No, it doesn't. The Hell in a Cell is basically a McDonald's playground now.
Yeah, well, painted in red. And that's what I said that on the last podcast that I did, that the pay-per-views I would eliminate was Hell in a Cell, TLC, and I think that was it. Maybe it was one more.
Fastlane. Get rid of that Fastlane bullshit.
I would keep Royal Rumble.
Fastlane.
I would keep Royal Rumble. I would keep Elimination Chamber, because Elimination Chamber to me is like the last chance after the Royal Rumble. You didn't win the Rumble and you chose to fight for this title. So now the Elimination Chamber, you put 6 people in. The winner gets to fight for the other title. You know, and then
I hear you.
And that's January, February. Leave March alone and make WrestleMania in April, and just use all that momentum to build for WrestleMania.
I hear that.
I'm okay in a way with what's that? The one that's on ECW, Extreme Rules.
Extreme Rules.
Because that's
fine.
one.
I can fuck with Extreme Rules.
I love Money in the Bank. That's one of my favorites. I would bring back the King of the Ring. And the winner of the King of the Ring faces the person at SummerSlam. Like, King of the Ring is the Royal Rumble for WrestleMania.
Summer.
Yeah, summer, exactly. I would keep that. I would keep Night of Champions. Every title is up for grabs. And I don't know how many of there are there, but and even if there's a gap between them, you don't need to have 12 pay-per-views a year. Build some momentum.
Yeah, when I first started watching, there were only 5 pay-per-views a year, and I was fine with it.
Yeah, when I started watching, it was only one. It was just WrestleMania, and then WrestleMania and Survivor Series, and then SummerSlam. You know,
and then Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble. I think it was before. No, it was the same year as SummerSlam, 88.
Yeah, but Royal Rumble didn't become a pay-per-view
until 89. Yeah, I remember when I saw that Royal Rumble. Which that's the next question I'm gonna ask you is your favorite Royal Rumble moment. But that 89, that 89 one was, I remember I was in New York, and we had cable, and my dad ordered it for me, and I hit record, because as I do, I record everything. And I was upstairs at a friend's birthday party, and I kept coming downstairs to see wrestling, right? And then the whole Royal Rumble, I didn't understand the concept. All I saw was Axe come out, number 1. Then I seen Smash come out, number 2. and I see them fighting each other, and I'm like, oh shit, this is crazy. And then I saw the countdown, and I thought they had 10 seconds left to win the match, pin or submit, or they have to leave. So when the buzzer happened, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess these guys lost. You see Andre the Giant coming in, and now they're fighting Andre the Giant. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then quickly I started to get it. I'm like, oh shit, this is like a kind of a reverse battle royal. And it became one of my favorite ones. Macho Man, I will never forget, number 15. That's the day of my birthday. That's my favorite number. And Macho Man came out 15. That's my favorite wrestler, though. But that's one of my favorite moments.
That Rumble was fun until Hogan got eliminated. And I'm not going to say that because I'm a Hogan fan or anything, but just after he was eliminated, it was just not as interesting.
And I think we had this conversation, and the funny thing about it is that VHS that I had recorded, I guess someone at some point in time within the month, someone had recorded "I Love Lucy" over it, but the part when Hulk Hogan and Big Boss Man was standing toe to toe and they were ready to fight. So right before Hogan got eliminated, they cut it off and all. So I guess I saw the whole thing, but I'm saying it got cut off. I guess someone knew that there was the Rumble was going to be bullshit at the end of it.
Yeah, I guess so, because Hogan and Bossman had a hot feud during that time. They sold out the Garden 3 times in a row.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was even one day where they did an afternoon show at the Garden and then a show at night at the Boston Garden. Cage match.
Oh, I think I remember hearing about the cage match or seeing highlights of it.
Yeah, there's a cage match of them on YouTube from the Boston Garden. It's like 2 weeks before WrestleMania 5.
Well, were you around when Saturday night's main event was actually going on?
Nah, I didn't start watching wrestling until '94.
Oh man, those were my highlights as a kid, because it would always replace Saturday Night Live, and I always waited. Yeah, I was always waiting for that intro. Saturday Night Live will not be broadcast tonight for a special edition.
They have every season of Saturday Night Live on that Peacock shit.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you were talking about the network.
All 45 seasons.
45 seasons. I don't remember it had
Saturday Night Live. Yeah, Saturday Night Live started in 1975.
Oh, I didn't know that. I tried to do that. When I first got the network, every Saturday night, if I wasn't out hanging out, I would watch a Saturday Night's Main Event, or I'll watch it before I go out.
Good shit.
Yeah. So what was your
favorite? Out of the ones I watched, my favorite one was probably the one where it was Hogan against Hockey Talk Man, and then it was Beefcake against Savage, and then Zeus came out and like interfered, and then Hogan got in Zeus's face, and Zook wasn't shook of him at all. That one was fun from what I remember of it. And
you're talking about Saturday Night's Main Event or Royal Rumble?
Yeah, that was like Saturday Night's Main Event.
Oh, okay. So I was like, that sounded like a Saturday Night's Main Event. I was talking about your favorite Royal Rumble moment.
Oh yeah, rest in peace to Zeus, by the way. We haven't spoken since he died.
Yeah.
It's fucking sad,
peace,
man.
Tiny. Yeah. How did he die?
Natural causes, they said.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit No Holds Barred wasn't the best movie by any means, but he did scare the shit out of me when I was a kid. I was legit afraid of him. And he was dope in everything else he was in. Like, he was dope in Friday, obviously. He was dope those times he was on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And that one cameo he had in Dark Knight. Yeah, everything he was in, he was good. And The Fifth Element. He was also in The Fifth Element, too.
Yeah. No Holds Barred, obviously, yes, it wasn't the best movie, but I was such a wrestling mark that I loved it. I can imagine if I watch it now, but like, what the hell is this?
I actually watched it last month after he died. I watched it.
Yeah, and you were just, how do you feel? You were just like, this is garbage?
It was not very good.
Yeah.
Especially Hogan, parts of Hogan's acting where he calls the black waitress at the diner a whole lot of woman.
Oh.
And then when the guy, like, he pulls like the limo driver out who's like trying to like put him into a trap, I guess that the guy shits himself, and Hogan says, "What's that smell?"
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that has like Vince McMahon humor written all over.
Yeah. I remember because I was watching. You wasn't watching wrestling at that time, right? You were too young. You said.
Yeah, I was 3 years old. That was 89. I was 3 years old.
That was like WrestleMania 5. Like, he already shot the film, and WrestleMania 5 was promoting it. And every Saturday and Sunday morning, they would show clip after clip. So I would collect every clip and try to put the pieces of the puzzle together. My friend, he went to the theaters and he saw it. I had to wait till it came out on VHS. But I took every little clip. That was one of the clips, the whole, what's that smell thing. So
yeah, Hogan had a good on-screen presence to him. I'll give him that, but just his acting and the movies he chose to do, that shit just did not do him any favors at all.
Are you saying he's no Rock?
Yes, I'm saying he's no Rock. Yeah, Hogan's just there's a part of me that still has like a nostalgia feel for him, but like he's just a big fucking cornball. Just the facial expressions he makes and like the shit he says sometimes, and even the fact that he's a good guy and he cheats half the time. It's like it becomes a harder dude to root for the more the years go by.
Well, I always said I was never a fan of him in the '80s. I was a Macho Man in the Heart Foundation. I was a heel guy, and I was never.
Did you hear that story that came out last week about him saying that the wrestlers now are cold to him every time he comes back to visit?
Oh yeah. I heard that.
Gee, I wonder why.
I mean, damn, bro, you don't throw your money that you had. You couldn't just ride into the sunset. It's like, you don't look good. Like, it's the young kids don't know you. You're too old for them to remember who you are. They're too young for them to know who you are. So they're like, who's this guy? And us people who knew him for what he was, now you coming out and you're just being cheesy every step of the way. It's like you can't ride into the. And then I don't know if you saw the three. I guess you watched the highlights, or you seen when the legends, which it made no sense for the legend to come, but they came. That's why Carlito said, "I'm not coming for a 2-minute cameo."
Just a cameo.
Yeah, and why did they do Ric Flair so dirty? Did he piss off the Vince McMahon or something? Like he had his daughter talk down to him. He had Randy Orton talk down to him, and on Raw Talk she talked more down to him, and just had him just waddle. I'm like, what did he do to the office that they pissing him off? And then he's so. And then
that looks like he bounced back last night though.
Yes, I like that. I like.
That shit reminds. I just sent out a video earlier with like that shit reminds me of Anna Nicole Smith and her old husband, like the guy who was like on his deathbed.
Yeah, maybe that's what maybe that's what they were going for.
Oh shit!
I like Ric Flair working with her because I think she has a lot of potential.
She does.
Damn, what's her name again?
Lacey Evans.
She had a lot of. I didn't like her at first, but she's growing, and I see her slowly coming out of that little gimmick that she has because I see her outfits changing, and I think
she has a nice body though. I will say that.
You know who she's looking more and more like. She redone her hair, like straightened it. She reminds me, maybe it's just me, but she reminds me of a blonde version of Nikki Bella. Like her movements.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Do you think she's gonna start a feud with Cardi B, like an actual feud?
Did you see what Cardi B put on Twitter?
Yeah, I saw it. Yes. Yo, to be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing it. And honestly, if it were a real fight, Lacey Evans would fuck her up.
Well, I would hope so. Because
Lacey Evans is a fucking Marine, and she's twice her size.
Yeah. But I like the comparison. I just Ric Flair is old. He can't move. He's moving very slow. But I do like him with her. I'm done with the father-daughter thing. We get it. And Charlotte doesn't need anyone. Charlotte is golden.
And Charlotte and Flair owe Charlotte one for that time when she shitted on him a couple years ago when she basically said, "You're dead to me." Well,
he did pay her back by siding with Sasha Banks.
He didn't cost her the match. The match was already over.
But it still stings when your father goes roots for the other person.
Oh yeah, in your hometown too, because it was in Charlotte.
Oh, I forgot that they used to travel a lot and had fans.
Yeah, they used to actually have fans in the audience.
Yeah, but I like that.
The one thing I did like about the Raw Legends show was seeing Mickey James.
Yeah, and Melina. What's the deal?
My God, Melina.
I thought she's re-signed. Is she? Maybe she's coming back for the Rumble because I heard her.
I don't know.
I heard Melina and the one with the red hair.
The red hair.
Eva Marie.
Eva Marie.
I heard they re-signed both of them.
Yeah, I heard Eva Marie was gonna come back and do something with Angel Garza, but who knows?
Yeah, her role was supposed to be what Carmella's role is. They want her. That was supposed to be her.
Yo, Carmella did well in the match with Sasha at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, she did. I give her props. I forgot that she was a heel at one point, and then I forgot she was a face before she left, and then she became a heel. And yeah, she's a better heel.
Yeah, she used to do that dance break shit.
Yeah. The jewels she was dropping on Banks, I was like, damn, WWE's allowing her to say this? Did you hear what she said?
Remind me. She said a bunch of shit.
She was saying how you bust your ass and did everything you can because this is your dream and this is the only thing you wanted to do. I came on this by chance. Like I don't give a damn if I'm here or not, type of thing. I was a cheerleader. I did this A B C D, and I had no intentions of being a wrestler. And you bust your ass to be a wrestler, and I didn't give a damn, and I achieved more than you. I won the Money in the Bank, I won the SmackDown, and I held it longer than all your titles combined. And I'm like,
ooh, that one hit hard. Yeah, that insult hit hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I knew she was gonna hold it a little longer, but I don't see her doing anything with the title. Honestly, with Banks, I want to like Banks, but I still do.
I do like Banks.
I like her more than a lot. I'd rather see her than a whole lot of other people. I'll say that. But
I hear you.
I don't know. She's wearing thin, like her gimmick or whatever is wearing. Maybe I don't know. But either that maybe or Bayley.
Maybe Cardi B will be in her corner at WrestleMania. I could see them working together.
Are they? Why are you saying Cardi B? Is something in the works? Is something happening that you're not telling me, or you're just assuming?
But back to the Cardi B thing. I mean, it could happen. It's possible. Like that whole tweet thing we saw last week could have just been them like trying to start something up.
Yeah, because Cardi B is the only one who even said anything to that, right? Because they mentioned a couple of other celebrities. I don't know if anyone else said anything.
Yeah, she's not really my cup of tea, honestly. I never really got into her like that.
Cardi B?
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea.
I mean, I'm not really. I mean, her music is good. I mean, as I was telling you, Eva Marie and Melina, supposedly, I don't know if it's rumor or not, re-signed with WWE, so you might see him at the Royal Rumble. Is there any
I would not mind.
Any other female you wouldn't mind as a surprise in the Royal Rumble?
AJ Lee.
Oh, yeah.
I know that's a fucking long shot, but that
that's
would be fucking
wishful thinking. I think I had a dream or something about it, but something about AJ Lee I heard, but I don't know.
I wouldn't mind having a dream about AJ Lee.
Well, I meant returning.
Oh, okay.
I gotta watch my words in this podcast over here.
Why? You're just saying she's attractive. You're not saying that you're gonna actually try to get with her.
Who would I wouldn't mind seeing that can actively go? I mean, I already seen Trish. I already seen Lita. I mean, yes and no. I don't know. I would say Sable, but then again, I'm like, yeah, really? Like, I don't know. What would she do?
How about Bull Nakano?
Who's she from? AEW? I mean, W.
You remember Bull Nakano, don't you? From back from like the mid '90s.
I didn't really know the mid '90s. I know Jack.
Remember the girl who wrestled Alundra Blaze at SummerSlam '94?
Oh, she's like Japanese.
Yeah, her, the one with the makeup and like the hair that stuck up.
Yeah, but you gotta remember those times they did not care for women's wrestling.
I know, it was still a good match though. It was probably the third best match on the show.
I didn't remember that. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't remember their names,
Yeah, I mean, they only would have like one match, but I remembered who they were because I remember Luna Vachon. Obviously, Luna Vachon was also in that Raw video game.
Yeah, since right now I'm in the transition of moving, trying to find a new location. Beforehand, I was tuning into all the wrestling I could possibly get to make this podcast more interesting. And then I lost track, and I just watched highlights, or I try to follow up on AEW just to get more interested in the podcast, and I mean, you had a year. You said you like AEW. How do you think of how is it going now? Are you still a fan of it? You think it's getting watered down? What do you think?
I like it. The thing I like more than anything else is that it's an alternative.
Okay. So,
I like Kenny Omega. They just turned him into a bad guy like a month ago, and he has like this connection with this guy from Don Callis from Impact Wrestling. So they're
I was gonna ask you, how do you like
wrestlers from Impact?
How you like the crossover?
So far, so good. I like seeing Carl Anderson and Lou Gallows last week. That was a nice touch.
Yeah.
The matches are really solid. They had that match last week with Phoenix and Kenny Omega as the main event. That shit was hard body.
Yeah, you heard Triple H said that he's down for a crossover, but they have to come off on top.
See what happens.
Yeah. What do you think of Sting in AEW?
It's cool. The only thing I don't like is that they have him on every week.
And I heard
I wish they would just have him on like once every couple weeks or so. But every week, I'm not really feeling them doing it that way.
And he's doing absolutely nothing.
He's like coming to the aid of Darby Allin and Cody against Taz's crew. I like Taz, though. I'll say this. I like Taz as a manager. The one thing they're doing good, they're implementing the old school guys into good roles. Like they have Jake the Snake as a manager. They have Arn Anderson as a manager, Tully Blanchard, and Taz. Yeah, I like how they're doing that shit. And also Vicky Guerrero, too.
What about Snoop Dogg's appearance?
Liked his appearance. Not sure how I like the splash.
I mean, all fairness to Snoop, he's not a wrestler.
I know. Sasha sent him a tweet saying, "Cuz I think we're gonna have to work on this a little."
Did you hear the rumors that WWE was upset with Snoop about that, and they were going to take it out on Sasha?
Yeah, you hear rumors like that all the time, but
yeah, I heard it was BS.
Yeah, I don't put it past WWE, though. They're on some petty shit. Look what happened with the Zelina Vega thing.
Well, I mean, it sucks that she got fired. I can't believe I forgot about her. She was doing great, but
yeah, I mean, she was. She was like in the title picture.
But you're talking about money in their business, opposed to the whole Snoop thing. I don't think they're gonna take it out on her. For that, they would have took it out on Renee Young when her husband went over there. Which I heard a rumor, and maybe you can correct me. I heard that he's coming back to WWE. I heard
he's not.
Why are you saying that?
I do not see that happening. There's no way.
I heard his contract is almost up.
That doesn't mean he's going back to WWE?
Doesn't mean that he's going back to WWE, but there's a strong rumor that they want to bring him back to a feud with Roman Reigns.
I don't see it happening. For all the things he said about WWE, like and why he left, I don't see him ever going back anytime soon.
Well, I mean, that's why I called it the rumor report. We should have a rumor report.
Yo, I do like Renee Young's podcast, though, the oral sessions. That shit is dope.
I seen snippets of it. I seen that she just recently interviewed the AEW wrestler.
Yeah, I think I saw a glimpse of that also. I gotta look back at it and see who it was. Yeah, I liked her interview with John Moxley where they were talking about their relationship, and they talked about the time when he defended the title at the Garden, and then they fucked at this hotel in Times Square right afterwards. And he said that was like one of the best nights of his life. I actually went to that show. It was a house show. I actually went to that show.
She's open like that.
Yeah, they were talking about their relationship and all the stuff they're into and all that jazz. So yeah, it's a dope show. She interviewed Maurice. She interviewed Punk.
Maurice? Oh,
yeah.
The Miz's wife.
Yeah, she interviewed her. Oh my God, Maurice is a goddess, man. Yo, there's not even fair how fine she is.
Yeah, she is. And I mean, I know the show is really, it's really staged and cheesy and all, the Miz and Mrs., but it makes her personality come more to life. Like, she can, make fun of herself in all sense. That's what made me. That's what makes me more even attracted to her. Like she's amazingly beautiful, but now she can make fun of herself and trip over and fall in the water and mess up her hair and all, and have a good laugh at it. It just makes me think she's more beautiful than not just her looks.
Yeah, she seems like a charming lady from what I've seen of her.
WrestleMania. What are your hopes for WrestleMania this year, main event wise?
I mean, for one, I would like to see some fans, but that might be asking a lot right now.
Yeah.
But main event wise, for the main event of WrestleMania, I would like to see Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan.
Seems like that's what they're trying to go with.
And I'm trying to think of other matches. I think Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair is more than likely going to happen.
I don't think. My opinion is I don't think she's ready. I've seen her in a couple.
Bianca Belair?
Yeah, I've seen her in a couple of matches on SmackDown. I don't think she's ready. I have high hope for her, but she's been. I don't know if you watch SmackDown or you watch highlights, but she's been really sloppy in the ring, and I didn't see that last year in the Rumble. I didn't see that in a couple of matches I've seen on NXT, but on SmackDown, she's sloppy. There's a lot of mistakes she made, and even Corey Graves even said it. She has all the potential in the world, but she's not ready right now. I've seen her in the ring. I don't think she's ready. Even Corey Graves even mentioned it once or twice. I think she's going to be great, but I don't know if she's not adapting well to the wrestlers, that she's working with now. But I've seen a lot of mistakes, like really very, up front.
I think maybe psychology-wise, she's probably not there yet the way Sasha is and Bayley is. I mean, it goes without saying because she doesn't have the same amount of experience. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens with the Royal Rumble.
Did you hear the rumor about who Drew's supposed to face at WrestleMania?
Supposedly it's going to be him, Brock, and Keith Lee in a three-way, or him against Sheamus.
Yeah. I didn't hear the Sheamus one, but I heard the triple threat. And
to be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing him and Sheamus at the Royal Rumble instead of the Goldberg bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't mind either. I could see that a nice brawl. I don't think I want to see it for WrestleMania, but a nice little brawl at Rumble. Yeah. I didn't see this triple threat. I would have thought if Brock is coming back and they were going to build that triple threat for WrestleMania, that he should have came out instead of Goldberg and just F5 Drew turn the favor. Interrupt the Drew McIntyre match versus Keith Lee and just beat the living hell out of both of them and saying that I'm entering the Royal Rumble. Maybe he wins the Rumble or something happens. Maybe he doesn't win the Rumble, but some storyline leads up to them making a triple threat. I mean, the end of Raw that night, so many other people should have walked out of that curtain except Goldberg to fight Drew.
The Goldberg thing is played out, man. It's not interesting anymore. Just like the Raw versus SmackDown thing at Survivor Series, it's not interesting anymore.
Well, I mean, I don't know. To me, the Survivor Series one, I still like it. I just hated what they did.
I did not. This year was the wackest shit.
Okay, it was the wackest shit because there was no build-up like how they did the other ones. They just had it, and that was it. I like the whole they each of them going to the Raw, each of them going to SmackDown and causing chaos. I like the chaos thing. And this year they didn't do that because like you and others didn't like it. And it was, even though the Survivor Series wasn't that bad, the women's match was good. I already knew Lana was going to win.
Just the show itself was just whatever. It was just there.
Yeah. You think they're burying Lana or
I don't know. It was just so weird that they built that storyline up for weeks where she was getting put to the table, and then all of a sudden she's the sole survivor at Survivor Series, and then they're building to a tag match with Shayna Baszler and Nia against her and Asuka, and then the week before the match they freaking put her out. Just didn't make any sense.
Well, what also could probably be happening was the fact that they were trying to get her ready. They had her training with Natalya. They were trying to get her ready, and TJ, Tyson Kidd, and they probably felt she wasn't ready. I think they were trying to. I don't think they're burying her because Rusev or whatever his name is now went to AEW. Yeah, because all fairness, and I said it on the last podcast. He didn't choose to leave WWE. WWE released him. So what do you want him to do? And he went over to the alternative, and he said whatever he said on AEW, but blah, blah, blah. Everyone says it, you know? I don't think they're burying her. I think they're making the joke of burying her by throwing her to the table to have people go online and cry and boo, 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 boo. But, I mean, I like Lana, but, I mean, compared to Lana in the ring with all these other female wrestlers, she can't hold a candle to them. If this was back in the mid-'90s or something like that, or even early 2000s with all the divas and all, yeah, I get it. But I can't see her winning matches without how the Survivor Series went, you know? Oops. On an oops type of shit. Maybe she makes the return. Oh, well, go ahead.
I wasn't a fan of that. I wasn't a fan of that at all. The way that match played out, I was not feeling.
I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, that shit was just not popping at all. The only saving grace on the Survivor Series show was the tag team match with the Street Profits and the New Day, and also the Drew and the Roman match.
The Drew and the Roman match was good, but I don't think it should have happened because I didn't think the momentum that each of them had, none of them should have lost.
Yeah, I hear you, but it is what it is. That's why I don't like when they do this shit anymore, because they should just have regular matches like they used to for Survivor Series as opposed to this thing. It's just not as interesting anymore. It was interesting in 2005, it was interesting in 2016, and also kind of in 2017, but not anymore.
Well, I mean, you and a lot of other people say the same thing. To me, I still like it. It's fast paced. That's what I like. It's a tag in and out, boom, boom, and it shows everyone's character and all. But that's my opinion. But a lot of people are on your side. They don't like it anymore. It was a couple of years ago. They almost took Survivor Series off completely.
Yeah, that's whack. That shit. They shouldn't do that. They could still keep it as a pay-per-view. They could still do the tag matches, but they just need to try something else. The Raw versus SmackDown thing just isn't really. Yeah, I'm not really feeling it.
Oh, and speaking of Survivor Series, that was the last time we saw the new father, Seth Rollins. Congratulations to him and Becky Lynch.
They had the baby last month.
Yeah. You think he comes back as a face or a heel?
As a face.
What do you think of Roman versus him at WrestleMania?
Roman versus Seth at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
I'm not really. I'm sure it would be good, but I would rather see Roman against Daniel Bryan because it's like a match we haven't seen that often.
And who goes over?
That's a good question.
If someone were to take the title off for Roman, who would it be on SmackDown? Who do you got?
I don't know because it's a match that I want to see, but even if Daniel Bryan doesn't win, I wouldn't be pissed off at it.
Yeah. I mean, Roman, he's going in.
Yeah, like he's in it. This is the best run he's ever had. And Daniel Bryan even said himself that he's trying to wind down his career. He's trying not to wrestle as much anymore.
Yeah. I think I'm probably like the only person that's still a fan of SmackDown and Raw. I like the show. And recently I've been watching the whole 3 hours because I don't have the DVR to the VR, so wherever I can catch it, I catch it. And it's, to me, obviously it's not as good as it was in the 90s or even the early 2000s, but it's not as bad as people make it out to be. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of Drew, but I do like him, and I like him on top. I was always a fan of Shameless. I said Shameless, right? Shameless?
Sheamus.
I don't know. I'm missing Shameless. It's almost over. Boo-hoo. But anyway, that's another story. I like Keith Lee, even though I don't know what the hell they're trying to do with him, but he's still good in the ring. I don't know what the hell they're doing with Matt Hardy. I think they're trying to bury him, make him leave. I think they want him out or something like that.
Jeff Hardy?
What's that?
You mean Jeff Hardy?
Yeah. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I think Jeff Hardy resigned for like 3 years, I think.
Oh, wow. I love the Hurt Business. They're my team.
Yeah, Hurt Business is dope.
I don't care for Retribution, but I do like Mustafa Ali.
Did you see him get into it with Sergeant Slaughter on Twitter?
No, I did not.
Yeah, Sergeant Slaughter was like talking shit about him like in a tweet, and then Mustafa Ali posted up a picture of him and doing the Iraqi gimmick, and he said, "Didn't you turn your back on this country a long time ago, maggot?" And
I'm a fan of Ali. I didn't know he was that good on the mic. He's the modern day.
supposedly he took a shot at Hogan and he went too far.
What's that?
Supposedly he took a shot at Hogan on the Raw Talk show, and they said that they can't give him a live mic anymore because he said something he shouldn't have said.
On Raw Talk?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he said anything. I mean, I don't know. I have to go back. He was talking trash about what he said was right. I'm sure you agree. Hell, even Jim Cornette agrees. He was saying, what the hell? It's a 3-hour show, and we wasn't on it at all. He started naming wrestlers that wasn't on it at all, but you're showing all these old-timers who did absolutely nothing. So instead of showcasing the up-and-comers and let them do their thing, you're showing these guys and they do absolutely nothing, and you see them in the segment.
You want to know why I don't watch the full show anymore? It's because of the fact that Legends night they did was like a pure like cop out because of how bad the ratings were a few weeks ago, how they scored like their lowest rating ever.
Yeah.
That was like a pure cop out move saying, "Oh, our ratings suck again. Let's go back to the Legends." And that shit never solves anything. They need to fucking establish the people they have now. This whole Legends thing, they can only rely on it so many damn times.
And I hate to go back to always bringing up someone else's name, but I mean, Jim Cornette even said it too. He goes, it just shows that you can't build or you don't have any major stars. You've got to keep going back to the old guys for ratings, which I wasn't excited about it because they do the same thing every time they bring Legends Night. But they usually do it every January. You know, they usually do that. And they don't do anything. I mean, unless you could say Goldberg because he actually did something. Ric Flair actually did something. He was part of the show. Hulk Hogan out there promoting some. I guess he has a new phone that he's promoting. Randy Orton going and disrespecting the Legends. I mean, they had their little comedy stick with the 24/7, and I was surprised that it did move ratings a little bit, but I would think people who watch Raw know every year they don't do nothing to Legends. You know, I don't know what's so important to see.
You know what's crazy? Yesterday was the 28-year anniversary of the first ever Raw.
28 years?
Yeah, the first Raw in '93.
And I think that's why they bring the Legends, because when it was like 15 years or such and such, they always bring the Legends in. But I mean, sometimes you gotta let them go because they're not. What's the name? Jimmy Hart doesn't age for nothing. He just looks the same as he did in the '80s and all. But most of them, besides the Mark Henry and Big Show, they all look beat up and old and run down. And you know, I think it does more damage now.
I hate to say it, IRS definitely looks older.
I thought when Randy Orton was looking for Legends, he would end up getting at IRS and kicking him. Like he found the one legend that he bullied because, you know, that's the Fiend's father. And I thought there would have been a little hint of him beating up on this one guy, and maybe the Fiend lights disappears and he doesn't show up. But Alexa Bliss, anyway. Yo, I mean, I think she can do no wrong to me.
She's great. Her gimmick reminds me of Angelica from Rugrats.
I think her with the Fiend, like just like Bray Wyatt, you put him in any character, he got two characters over. He got the Fiend over, and he got the whole Bray Wyatt character over. And same thing to me with Alexa Bliss. Different characters she had tried, and it all went over. I didn't think I was going to like her as a face, but she did well as a face. But I still would like her better as a heel. But did you see when she did the whole fireball to Randy Orton?
Yeah, I saw it.
What do you think of this whole fire thing burning on the Fiend and the whole fireball?
That match they had at the pay-per-view was crazy. Like when he set him on fire. I mean, yeah, the whole visual of him setting the Fiend on fire was some shit I haven't seen in years, and I fucks with it. I don't know where they're gonna go with it, but that match itself was solid. Was definitely some shit that was better than I was expecting it to be. But as far as last night, just the way they shot it was a little weird. That's the thing that kind of stood out to me. But that was a nice visual, though. It was definitely a nice visual.
Well, her spin it had me jump. Like, oh shit. I was like, oh, not scared, just like, oh shit.
Yeah, I saw the picture of it before I saw it actually happen, so that kind of took it away from me.
You did?
Yeah, because like I was just going through the internet looking at the highlights, and it had the picture of it.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you didn't see it live, but yeah, it was. I knew something was gonna happen, but the way she did it, that's why I'm saying she's gold. It wasn't like you knew something was gonna happen, but when she did it, it was like that. It was boom, and it was like, oh shit, and the fire was boom. It's like, come on, it's like, yo, he had to lose an eyebrow. Or something. And the only thing I didn't like about it was they didn't cut the camera soon enough. They just kept going on him, and he's hurting, but I know he's probably like, yo, cut the camera because then you started seeing the acting. It was real at a moment, but they didn't cut it soon enough, and it just became more of a like waiting. He's like, you could see him waiting for the camera to cut off so he can be like, all right, ready. But they had the camera on him way too long. And it's so weird because they had the camera on him for so long on this, but then the week before with the whole Goldberg pushes Drew and then it cut. It's done. There was nothing after that.
It's so crazy that show was 3 hours long and they still run out of time.
I think they purposely run out of time because they've been doing it for the last couple of weeks. Like they purposely trying to leave like, oh snap, what happened? I think they purposely.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just feels like a chore to watch that full show now. And I'm sad to say it, but that's just the point that they brought it to. And the show's just been so consistently off for so long that it's hard to give them any more chances.
What would you want from that show? What do you think is missing?
To be an hour shorter, for one. Yeah, to be an hour shorter. And it just needs a makeover. It needs like a new creative person in charge that isn't Vince.
Yeah, but other than that, what do you think it's missing in the show? Because I've been watching for the last couple of weeks, and again, it's not the greatest show on earth, but it's not dragging like a lot of people start. Like for instance, again, Jim Cornette will complain about it, but he doesn't watch it. So it's like, what are you guys talking about that's not good on the show that needs to be changed? Because a lot of the matches are solid. A lot of the characters are really good. You know, obviously some storylines could be different, but I mean, what is missing?
More consistent long-term storytelling, more storylines being more simplified as opposed to like all over the place with this
Agreed.
You know, like
Agreed.
cartoon that they put in it. Because that's the one thing I like about NXT is that their storylines are just very simple.
Okay, I definitely agree.
They're simple, but they work.
I definitely agree with the whole. It's confusing all over the place. Wait a minute, you was rivaling with this person, and like for instance, it seems like a Charlotte Flair and Lacey Evans is gonna be some type of storyline, and I already feel like it's gonna disappear, and Ric Flair's just gonna manage her, and Charlotte's gonna do her own thing.
Yeah, and even last night they had Sheamus and Keith Lee team up in a tag match, and then they win and they're celebrating all happy, and then when they come back from commercial, they're fighting each other all of a sudden.
Yeah, I was like, wait, did I miss something? But see, again, it goes back to I think maybe I have to give last night a pass because I don't know if a lot of people had COVID, a lot of people wasn't there, something happened. So I think they had to,
Possibly.
because they had Jeff Hardy versus Elias. And it's like, wait a minute, I thought that feud was over with. And then
Jackson Riker guy, that guy who like supports Trump that everybody hates.
Oh yeah? I thought he was Elias's brother. They look alike.
Nah. He was like coming under fire because of some tweets he put out a while back supporting Trump, like when the whole George Floyd protests were going on. And he put out a tweet a few years ago, like talking shit about Black Lives Matter, saying that like black people don't have it that bad compared to how they used to have it. So yeah, he's not not very well liked behind the scenes.
Speaking of another wrestler that was talking a lot of, reckless stuff in the past, are they finally over with? I can't even remember his name. That's how in and out he's always been. The big monster guy with the hairy back, the white dude, bald, beard.
Mark Sullivan?
Yeah.
I guess. I haven't seen him in like 2 months. I don't know what the hell happened to him.
I would say when he came back this last time, I was starting to understand and feeling him. But then he disappeared again. I mean, how many chances do you give a guy? Like, I mean, maybe he's not, connecting with the audience. I mean, you have plenty of monsters out there that done, and he's not one of them. I think one of them who is making his mark, but then he got injured, I thought Braun Strowman is extremely stepping his game up, my opinion.
Well, I mean, he had the title for all those months, but I wasn't really a fan of his title reign.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he was a title holder, He was holding it for Roman Reigns,
Yeah, I guess. That's true. I was going to stay up and drink. I was actually watching the 92 Royal Rumble, and then I passed out in the middle of it. And when I woke up, it was already 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
Woo! Ric Flair?
Yeah. Classic performance, man. That's definitely one of the best top, as far as Rumbles, that's the top 5.
Yeah, that was. Bobby Heenan was golden on the mic.
I remember actually the first time I saw it, I borrowed it from you.
You're lucky.
Yeah, I watched it at Carlene's house at 7 o'clock in the morning, and that shit was gold.
You're lucky. I don't lend out my VHSs.
Yeah, I had been looking for that one for years because Conrad would always rave about it and rave about how crazy it was that Ric Flair lasted that long. And then when I finally found it, when you finally let me borrow it, I'm like, finally I get to see this event after all these fucking years.
You know, it's funny you say that. The one event that I never got to see until a long time, it was and it was in 1992, was the SummerSlam, because we had the hurricane around that time.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, Hurricane Andrew was a week before that.
Yeah, and for some reason, it stopped. I couldn't find the VHS. It never came out here in Miami. I promise you, and everything I love, I went everywhere looking for that. I don't think I've seen it until maybe the network. I probably seen it before somehow. Maybe I was able to download it, but it had to be in the 2000s or something that I actually saw it. I never seen the.
Actually,
go ahead.
The first time I ever saw it was in '96. I actually had the video store down the street from my house. Actually had it.
I could never find it. I would always go to Blockbuster. Blockbuster never had it.
Yeah, there were certain ones it took me a minute to find, like SummerSlam '91. It took me a minute to find WrestleMania 8. And yeah, the 92 Royal Rumble, the 94 King of the Ring. Yeah, there were a lot of them that I had to wait forever to watch.
It's just funny to me, I've seen a lot of these, and then sometimes I go back and watch it on the network, and they do so much editing on the network. I'm like, oh man, they cut out a lot of stuff that I can remember. I'm like, man, just leave it in. It's a part of history. I mean, when I watched the old school Raws in 97, 98, 99, they still showing the lugs, commercial. No, they still show you all these sponsors that they got. So why can't you just let the thing ride, man? Yeah,
when they show the Undertaker from back in 2000, they always edit out the Kid Rock music.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they never play the Kid Rock music anytime they play the Undertaker from 2000.
Well, with that, it's because it goes back to royalties. I guess they don't have the rights to do it.
Yeah, and also with the WCW ones, they never play DDP's theme, the one from Nirvana. Yeah, the one from Nirvana. Teen Spirit.
Yeah, all that has to deal with rights, and I don't think
that was such a dope theme. Yeah, DDP was that shit back in the day.
Yeah.
The man who should have broken Goldberg's streak.
Oh, you think DDP should have been the guy?
Yeah, that Halloween Havoc, I think that would have been a good time for them to do it.
Eric Bischoff Is he in AEW or what? Because he was on Raw last night.
He was on Raw?
Yeah. He was talking about, they had a segment about Goldberg, and it was...
That was an old interview. That was an old interview.
Yeah, but whether it was old or new, it was only him talking. So it's like, why would they put him, just him, talking about Goldberg, and he's in another company?
Well, he is not in AEW. He's just done a couple of appearances for them.
See, I still stand by what Vince Russo said a couple of months ago. I don't think there's any rivalry between the two, because I see a lot. WWE does a lot that showcase, other wrestlers and vice versa. Like, for instance, I mean, even though that's a great thing they did, rest in peace to Luke Harper, Brody Lee.
Yeah, that was so sad. We haven't even talked about that yet. That was so sad. I didn't see that shit coming at all.
And I love the tribute that AEW did, and I love the fact that the companies worked together to make this tribute, because if you watch the tribute, a lot had to do, they show you a lot of him in WWE, a lot of him hanging out with WWE wrestlers, and I heard...
I saw it.
And I heard a couple of WWE wrestlers even was on AEW, giving their piece, saying how much they cared about him. I forgot what wrestler they said it was on there. And
Eric Rowan made a cameo there.
Yeah.
And he was he was really broken up about it, and obviously.
And Chris Jericho announced that he's the former of the Bludgeon Brothers. He mentioned that. So I thought that was good. I don't think, and then when I saw that, I don't think you don't need to have rivalries on different companies in wrestling and all. It's something like you said earlier. It's an alternative. I mean, why not just? Why do I have to hate you? Why do I have to fight you for ratings and all? Just you do you, I do me, and collectively, and if they were to work together, and not all the time, but like, for instance, Retribution, it would have been so much of a pop if one or two of them was from AEW. Wouldn't it have made more sense?
Yeah, it would have been nice. Yeah, it would have definitely been at least a little bit better than what they did. But
yeah, it doesn't have to be a long-term storyline, but it could have been leading up to that, and maybe a wrestler or two goes into AEW and attack them or something like that. I don't know, but the Retribution is like, if they don't have Ali, it's meaningless. It still is meaningless, The girl who
like Raw Underground.
Yeah, like what happened to that, right?
Don't ask. At least it's gone.
Like the girl who's on Retribution, what's her name again? Keith Lee's girlfriend.
Mia Yim. That's Keith Lee's girl.
I thought she was good on NXT. Is that just my mistake?
Yeah, she was good on NXT. A lot of people were good on NXT, and then when they go to the main roster, they're fucked with.
It's not that they fucked with. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you've seen her matches on Raw, she's not on cue. She's sloppy. She's making a lot of mistakes, and I'm like, I thought she was good, and I don't know if you've ever seen her wrestle, to the point that they stopped putting her in matches. She was fighting Dana Brooke, which I thought was stupid because I don't think Dana Brooks is still polished yet. So I have her put her in the ring against Natalya or something. And
yeah, it's so crazy. That's so crazy. They broke up Sonya and Mandy, and they broke up the Iconics, and they put them all in different teams anyway.
Yeah, I don't think. I think maybe Lacey Evans gonna go solo with the whole Ric Flair, which is good. I think Iconics should get back together. I think they're not ready to be solo acts, even though the other one is doing pretty good on SmackDown, just being a comedian. But I don't think they should break them up. What was the other one you said? The other team?
Sonya's back.
Oh yeah, Sonya
came back last week.
I do like the Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke more of a team than Sonya Deville. Even though to me Sonya Deville is way better wrestling than both of them.
Yeah, she is. I admit she is.
Yeah, but they look more of a team. They look more of a team. I love Mandy Rose. I think she looks.
And now I kind of see what you mean when you said that Mandy Rose wasn't really the best actress.
You see that, right? Like,
I kind of get it now.
that's what I was just gonna say. I love her. I think she looks good and all. But I remember when Shayna Baszler was she choked out Dana Brooke. You know, Dana Brooke sold it well. Then I don't know if you see this. If you're not, go back and watch it. Then she came back in. Mandy Rose wanted to go check on Dana Brooke. Then Shayna Baszler came back in the ring and choked Mandy Rose. And she's just like, and they let her out, and then she's like, and then she gets back on her feet. I'm like,
I'll never forget when Carmella got pissed at her for real during that Money in the Bank match.
oh, what happened there? Tell me that story.
I think Carmella was climbing the ladder, and then Mandy, I think, pulled her down like the wrong way, and like she really hurt Carmella for real. And Carmella was like holding on to her leg, and then Mandy kept trying to reach to her, and like Carmella was like pushing her hand, saying, "Yo, get away from me." And then she tried again, and she was like, "Yo, get away from me. What the hell's your problem?"
Really? Which one was that?
Yeah, it was weird. It didn't feel like it was a part of the show.
Which one?
2019, the 2019 one.
Last year.
Yeah, the one that Bayley won.
Oh, Bayley! I gotta check that out. I like to see those little clips. I don't be seeing them though. I remember they talked about Shawn Michaels and Vader, and I didn't see the kick. I didn't see Shawn Michaels saying that. And you saw it?
Yeah, I saw it. I watched it last year. I saw it.
I know you told me, because even you told me about it, but I was like, maybe I was staring too hard that I blinked and it happened and all, but I was trying to see those little moments and all. Like, I seen a moment where this was when Jeff Hardy was strung out. This was at a Survivor Series, I believe. I think it was Survivor Series. And that's when the Dudley Boys came back together, right? And Jeff Hardy.
Oh, yeah, because Jeff Hardy, like, I think Rico was calling for him. He was supposed to, like, pull the rope down, and he was like, "Jeff, damn it, where are you?"
Yeah. I remember that one. He was yelling. He was so pissed that he had to yell it out so clearly.
Fucking nuts. Yeah, Jeff didn't feel the same at that point. Like that late 2002,
yeah, he was
early 2003 period, he seemed like really off.
Sting, you think Sting has a match in him?
Probably like one of those like those matches that like they've been doing lately, like those whole creative matches where like they don't happen in the actual ring, like a cinematic match.
Yeah, because I mean, regardless of anything, his neck is still injured.
Yeah, I think he'll have a match with Cody, and I think he'll probably definitely have a match with Cody, maybe that Darby Allin guy.
Yeah, but what can you do with a bad neck? You can't take a lot of bumps. You shouldn't be taking any bumps.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, with like that type of match, I'm sure they'll work something out. I mean, I'm not sure how it's gonna turn out per se, but we'll see. I'm sure they'll probably work out some kind of way to make it work.
I was a little hurt when he went to AEW. I'm not gonna lie. I was like,
I mean, WWE had him lose his first match at WrestleMania.
I think he only won one match with him and the Big Show. It was in a tag match.
Yeah, it was a tag match on Raw.
Yeah, I mean, he got injured. I mean, can't blame Seth Rollins. He tried something, and it happened. I think he would have been champion. I think if that didn't happen, but I do disagree that I think Sting should have went over at WrestleMania, not Triple H. But it probably was like a little jab to WCW. But I think Sting should have won.
Because they had the little documentary that came out around the time of the Monday Night War, and they wanted to establish more dominance.
And it's like,
no, bro, you guys already won.
I know.
Like, get over it.
And technically, I love WWE, but technically, they didn't really win. They won by default because AOL bought out TNT, whatever that whole thing was going, and they didn't want wrestling on their program. It wasn't like, even though the ratings were going bad for WCW, they just didn't want it. You never know what could have happened. They could have bounced back, just like WWE did, and bounced back and figured it out. Even though I didn't watch towards the end of WCW, I mean,
it was hard. those last 2 years of WCW were brutal, especially the last year. That 2000 period, for as hot as WWF was in 2000, WCW was equally as bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Because
like that shit made, like the shit they were doing in 2000 made me embarrassed to be a wrestling fan. And speaking of that, I actually just watched a documentary about David Arquette, about him trying to get back into wrestling. And he basically talks about like when he got the title in WCW in 2000, when they gave him the title, that basically not only hurt himself in the eyes of like other wrestlers, but also hurt his Hollywood career too. Like he said, for years he said like had a really hard time getting casted in like good roles because of that shit.
Really? I don't know why Hollywood would be so.
Because of his involvement in wrestling.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that should have hurt his Hollywood. It's just another form of acting, you know.
He gets typecast like a motherfucker. Like he always gets cast like the goofy dude. Like,
well, I
like
mean, he kind of did it to himself. He's always been the goofy guy. Like I remember when Scary Movie, when they made fun of Scream, he was the goofy retarded guy in the movie, and I always felt that way about him in the Scream movie himself. He was always this goofy guy, always at the wrong place at the wrong time, and then when he goes and tries to help the girl, he's always getting his ass kicked and all. So I mean, you saw the check and you said, "I'll take it." You chose the role. You know?
Yeah, but he's like taking it seriously though. Like he's going to wrestling school and he's like trying to learn new shit. And like he's having these really like crazy ass hardcore matches. Yo, he actually takes it seriously. He's like a legit fan.
I mean, it's great to be a fan, but I'm sure AEW will sign him, if not Impact.
Yeah, actually the documentary is dedicated to Luke Perry. They were really good friends.
So this is recent.
Yeah, it just came. It's on Hulu. Actually, what's his name? Luke Perry's son's in AEW. Jungle Boy Jack Perry, part of that.
Luke Perry, the Beverly Hills guy.
Yeah, Luke Perry, his son's
Beverly
in AEW.
Hills. Yeah. Oh, really? I didn't know that.
His song now is gonna be the Tarzan Boy shit.
Oh, I don't know. To me,
that.
AEW to me, I don't know. I still can't get into it. I don't see the.
I like it.
I don't see the fascination in it. I think Jericho's not his best. You know, Jack's swagger. Well, whatever his name is now, it's just showing why he was never a big deal in WWE. I don't know. I think you know, Rusev was a monster. I mean, he even before he even left WWE, he was still doing comedy shit. But I mean, this whole video game thing. I mean, I don't get it. You know, maybe it's not.
Yeah, the Tony Khan, he said he's basically trying to rebuild him back up because he was broken down so badly in WWE that he's just slowly trying to get him back to that level again. So he's just taking his time with him.
Yeah, but why would you bring him in to be the best man in playing video games? And why don't you?
I don't know. I don't know.
You should have came him and had him.
I'm not about that storyline per se, but
you should have had him come in and destroy everything.
I don't know. Maybe that was Miro's idea. Maybe he wanted to come back as this role for a little bit. Maybe just chill out.
Well, it just shows you can't have the inmates run the asylum because you're not creative. You may have one or two wrestlers that are creative. You know, I listened to Stone Cold podcast and they were asking him about the whole, you know, running over the putting the cement in the Ferrari car and, you know, all these you know, bulldozer. He come into the ring and he said, "I wish it was my idea, but it wasn't my idea." He just executed it well. You remember, you have different people to do different parts. That's what makes a business work well. If you handle this part, your job is to edit. Your job is to be a star. Your job is to write. Your job is to lead the show. If everyone plays their part, I think that you have a great show. But you have to hire the right people. Like, I don't know who the hell WWE is hiring right now. They're not hiring real whoever does writing their show.
It doesn't matter who writes their show because at the end of the day, the writers are only catering to Vince. They're not catering to the audience. And we all know what Vince's sense of humor is like. You saw No Holds Barred.
Well, someone needs to have the balls to tell him no. You know, and another person we gotta say rest in peace to is to Pat Patterson.
Oh fuck, that's right. He did die like last month. Fuck
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. It was so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pritchard was devastated. I listened to Bruce Pritchard's podcast, and he was not in a good place.
Yeah, it seemed like everyone loved him, and I met him. I was one of the fortunates to actually meet him. I met him at Hell in a Cell in Miami.
Yeah, I saw the picture. I saw you take a picture of him.
Yeah, and I mean, he was a great mind for the business.
Yeah, they said other than Vince, he's probably the most important person in wrestling in the last 40 years.
Yeah, and even me, I get it. When they have to execute a match, and because I seen them work it out, where they take the two wrestlers and they try to put that story together. And
yeah, do that in Wrestling with Shadows. I saw Pat Patterson talking to Brett and everybody, and talking to them about how the match was going to play out, like how it was going to start. And then they were showing footage of like the match starting, and like they were playing audio of him talking to Brett backstage before the match, saying, "So first you and Austin are going to look at each other, then you guys are going to start fighting, and then these guys are going to come in and do this, and then this is going to happen." Yeah, so Patterson broke down like everything.
Yeah, he said one of the Hart family is going to throw a drink at him. Stone Cold's going to think it was the Pops who did it, and it was just, and then just to hear him say it, and then they showing you, it's like, wow, it was brilliant. It was,
mad scientist,
Yeah.
fucking mad scientist.
I love having blank canvas and all that. You think they do a tribute to him at the Royal Rumble?
They should. They have to. The first Intercontinental Champion, the mind behind the Royal Rumble match.
Yeah. Yeah, he brought a lot.
You know what Royal Rumble I just watched last week? The classic one that I just watched last week?
A classic one. Let me see if I can guess it. What decade? Is it the 90s, 2000s? Was that?
90s.
In the 90s. A classic. I'll say 97?
No. I'll give you a hint.
99?
No, I'll give you a hint. It was the same year that Boys in the Hood in New Jack City came out.
If you say 92, you already said it.
No, I said the same year that Boys in the Hood
91.
came out. Yes, 91.
And hold on. The person who won that, was it Hogan who won that?
Yeah, that's the one that was in Miami.
Okay. Oh, that's when Macho Man hit Ultimate Warrior with the glass, with the scepter.
And Virgil turned on DiBiase, and they had that really good match with the Rockers and the Orient Express.
Yeah, I was trying to go to that one. That was at the Miami Arena, not the airline arena, the Miami Arena.
Yeah, where the Heat used to play. I know.
Yeah. I'm just saying that for whoever's listening.
You know they've only had like 5 or 6 pay-per-views in Miami, period?
I don't think so.
Yeah, like in all the years WWE's been coming to Miami, they've only had 6 pay-per-views there.
We have the Hell in a Cell I went to, the WrestleMania here. I've been to a Survivor Series they had here.
They had 2 Survivor Series there in 2007 and 2010.
So are you counting that as 1 or 2?
Those are 2. No, those are 2.
They had 2 Royal Rumbles here.
Yeah, 91 and 6.
Yeah, the second one, that's one Rey Mysterio one. I just quit the airline arena, and I was supposed to go work that one. That's 6. I don't know if there was another one.
Yeah, those are the only ones. Those are the only pay-per-views to ever happen in Miami.
Does Fort Lauderdale count?
No, I'm not counting Fort Lauderdale, just Miami.
Because I know there was 2 Armageddons that happened.
I know.
Here. I don't know. I got to do my research, man. I got to call you bluff. I don't think there was 6.
Yeah, because watching it a few weeks ago, I'm like, wait a minute. They haven't really done that many pay-per-views in Miami. And that was like the only one they did back then. Like after that Royal Rumble, they didn't do another pay-per-view in Miami until the 06 one, or a pay-per-view in Miami, period.
Well, you also got to remember what I learned when I went on tour was you have to cater to where your audience is. Philly's a big town for them. Canada's a big town for them. New York is a big town for them. LA, Chicago, these are Texas. These are big towns for them. So when they cater to a big pay-per-view. Like, why go to Miami? Miami doesn't support anything, So,
but I will say this for you saying that night, that crowd was on point. That crowd was fucking hot from start to finish.
At the 91?
Yeah, that crowd was hot. That was one of the highlights of the whole show, was how into it the audience was.
You went to that one?
No, of course not. Wasn't watching wrestling back then.
Yeah, you said you wasn't one. I was.
But just watching it, I could just tell from the beginning, from like the opening match on, like, yo, that crowd is on fire.
My cousin went to that one. I don't know if you know him, Franz. He went to that one, and I remember he was telling us that when he went to the concession stand, this guy picked up one of the fans picked up the scepter. I don't know if he was. I don't know if he was lying or not. Because now I'm thinking about it, like, how would they let a fan just?
But you know what the thing with that Rumble was? The Desert Storm war started 2 days before that. It's like they were all like into the whole USA Pride thing and whatnot.
So let me ask you: do you think that Sergeant Slaughter and WWF at the time should have ran with that story, or no?
Probably not. They could have done it. They could have still made Sergeant Slaughter a bad guy and made it work, but they could have done it in another way. And honestly, after listening to the SummerSlam 90 podcast, what they should have done is had Hogan go against Rick Rude at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, I mean, I definitely would have loved to see that. I never thought of that, but after being said, like Rick Rude or Mr. Perfect, I thought it would have been great for Hogan because those are two tremendous athletes.
I would say Rude would have been better because he would have been a new opponent.
Yeah,
because he worked with Rude that much.
Yeah, but I don't disagree with the character of Sergeant Slaughter, only because they don't do it now, and it was, how did you get heat on somebody and be so disrespectful at a time that it's like, how dare you? Like, they were crossing that line, and it was like, it wasn't like we were supposed to like him. We were supposed to hate him. We're going to war right now, and you're over here trashing him, man. Fuck you. You're siding with the people we're going. It was supposed to. It was like the thin line between reality and what do you call that? Fiction and reality. Whatever, I don't know. I
guess the equivalent of that would be like somebody on TV like blatantly being a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
Or like all of like the racist stuff that he's associated with.
What's the writer? Vince Russo. He was on the Disco podcast. And he's like, I'm dying. Like, he goes, he wants to go back to WWE because he says he loves a lot of these wrestlers that's there right now, and he would love to write for them. And he said he would make Otis like the All-American, come up in a pickup truck, and wearing a Trump hat and do all that. He's like, he would have had him do that. But yeah, it is that. But I don't think they would do it because, technically, Vince is still Vince's friend. That's his homeboy, Trump.
I know. I'm just saying it like, in a different world, it would be kind of that way.
Yes, and that's what more, like when I asked you earlier about Raw, what would you like to see? And to me, I like the show. I'm not in love with it, but it's something for me to watch on Monday, and I could tolerate it.
Oh, you want to know what I want to see in the show? More realistic characters, more characters that are realistic, that like are relatable to real life.
Well,
popular culture.
Well, they do have that. It's just I was going to say they do have that, but I would say more heelish. Like, stop being the cool heel guy, because now you're blurring the lines of who we cheering for. Like, in a way, it helped WWE. I think this 2020 should have had them build their characters because they didn't have fans to say, I love you, I hate you. Because I believe they probably will start cheering Roman Reigns right now when they're supposed to be hating him because he's so good right now. But fan not being there, they're able to sell their stories and all. And that's what I thought 2020 they should have done. They should have took that and ride. Like, Edge took it and ride with it. Randy Orton took it and ran with it. He saw the crowd wasn't there to interrupt them, and he can play this. Look at that. Everyone's saying how good Roman Reigns is right now. Everyone's saying how good Randy Orton is. So technically, it was the fans' fault. in a way, because you won't let them do their thing and sell you their character. So, I'm cheering for Roman Reigns at home, but I wouldn't want to see a crowd. I want to see more heels be heels. Like, everyone's saying this guy, and you don't like him. I know you always talk trash. You don't like him. Baron Corbin. He's trying to be the best heel in the world because he wants you to hate him, and he has you hate him all the way to the T where you just don't like him, period. I would say this. Jim Cornette, I didn't like him in wrestling. I don't know if it's because he was a heel or I didn't like the whole pink jacket. I wasn't a fan of him. I'm a huge fan of him now. But back then, and I don't know if it's because he was such a good heel, is why I hate him, or I just didn't like the character. And I want to see more of that, I'll
never forget the one time at the Slammies when he won the Worst Dressed Award.
Yeah, he mentioned that.
Oh, shit. Yeah, his outfits were out there, man. And I remember the 86 Starrcade, he was in the scaffold match, and when he fell off the scaffold, he blew out both of his knees.
Oh, yeah. Oh, ouch. I don't know. You could pay me enough to do that.
Yeah, Big Boss Man was supposed to catch him, but he missed, and then he blew out his knees as a result.
Yeah. I blew up my knee once or twice, and that's not a good feeling. It's not.
Yeah, for as much flack as I give Hogan, I will give him credit for this. I remember hearing the story on his first day of wrestling training. Hiro Matsuda broke his leg because, back then they would do shit like that to test
when he was training.
And to his credit, he came back.
Yeah, and those are fighting words to me. Thank God. Even when I'm training now, they're not. I like the old school mentality, but don't break my damn leg. Teach me a lesson. See how tough I am. Don't break my leg where I got to take time out to heal it, to come back, and it might not be the same again.
Yeah, I heard they did that shit all the time back in the day.
That would have been fighting words. I mean, I would have shot you in the foot and now you go heal up,
Shit.
Yeah,
Japanese wrestlers didn't fuck around.
Yeah, I mean, and I get, they take the business seriously, and I get it. You don't want just any outsider coming in. I get it, but I think there's other ways, torture them, but don't disable them where they now have to take 6, 7, maybe even a year to come back, But what I want to ask you was, who would you rate as your top 5 heels of all time?
Flair, definitely put Flair in there. Early 2000 Triple H, that era of Triple H, I'll definitely put that in there too.
19 when he turned on DX. Beautiful.
Yeah, that period. Yeah, this is gonna be hard. I gotta really dig deep on this one, definitely.
I'll give Macho Man a part of that because when he first came in, how evil he was.
I like him more as a good guy. I like him more as a good guy, though.
Oh, well, I was talking about this top heels in general. I like them more of the heel.
There.
Who?
I'll put DiBiase in there.
That was the first one I was thinking. I was like, I wonder if he's gonna bring him up.
Piper, you got Piper in '85. Yeah, Piper definitely in '85. You got to throw in there like that. During in the first WrestleMania, there was nobody more hated than Piper.
Oh yeah, he was probably the first heel that was so damn good at being a heel they had to turn him face.
Yeah, and also Hollywood Hogan. I put in there too.
That was when they were becoming the cool heels and all. They were just too cool. Who would I rate even as the top? Because DiBiase was, who I'll give a heel because I don't know if I'll put him in the top 5, but I'll put him as a good heel because he's so horrible as a face. I'll give it to The Miz. He's way better.
Wow.
He's way better as a heel than a face. Now,
interesting.
Now, would I put him in the top 5? I don't know if I put him in the top 5, but I think he's actually pretty good. Roman Reigns is getting up there. This is more modern.
No, actually, take out Hogan from my top 5 heels. I'll put in Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, Brock. And I don't know if I'll put Brock in there because, yeah, he's a heel, but I didn't get a heel or a face out of him. He just was an ass kicker. He came, he saw, he conquered, and he left. I didn't.
But like, especially in his first run, he was more of a bad guy. Like in his first 2 years.
Yeah, that. I'm just talking about when he came back to WWE. It was more just I'm kicking ass, and who cares what you love or hate me.
But in the last few years, he's been more of a heel because the fans have like been more.
Oh yeah. They just don't like him. That's you know. Damn, I know there's somebody in the tip of my tongue that's.
Iron Sheik was a solid heel too.
Yeah.
Hell, and for as goofy as the gimmick was, Honky Tonk Man had mad heat like during his IC title run.
Yeah, you know he was supposed to be a face, right? He was a face.
Yeah, I remember hearing that story.
Yeah, they had to turn him heel. Oh, Jake the Snake was a good heel.
Yeah, he was. Jake the Snake was supposed to feud with Hogan, but then when they did the segment where he DDT'd Hogan at the Snake Pit segment, everybody cheered, so they were like, "Nah, we can't do that shit."
Yeah. Yeah, there was Rick Rude. Rick Rude is another good heel.
Oh, Rick Rude was great. Mr. Perfect too.
Yeah.
And no, Boss Man when he first came in '88, he was killing it as a bad guy.
Yeah. I mean, he's not a wrestler. Well, he was a wrestler, but a manager. About Bobby Heenan, one of the greatest. Bobby
Heenan, Jimmy Hart, obviously, Slick.
Danny Davis, the cheating ass referee.
Danny Davis.
Yeah.
Or Sensational Sherry, obviously, another one.
Oh yeah. She was. Sherry, when I was watching it, was very good. When I went back and watched it again, she was freaking amazing.
Yeah, she's the shit.
She knows how to the facial expressions. She knows how to sell. She knows the right time to do something. You know, I mean, Shawn Michaels was a pretty good heel.
Oh yeah, Shawn was great, especially especially like in 94, 95, like when he was with Diesel.
Mm-hmm. When he turned on Shawn Money Jannetty, it was a wrap from there.
Yeah, he was on point.
Yeah.
Also, Owen in 94 when he turned on Bret. I like that run.
Yeah, the obnoxious heel.
Yeah, he was dope at that role.
What about face? Who do you think is one of all-time great baby faces that you like? Not just John Cena and Hogan and even if that's your top five, it's your top five. But who did you like as a face?
The Rock. That's definitely one. The Rock.
Oh yeah, he was actually not even that bad as a heel himself.
No, of course not. He was a great heel.
Even Mankind when he first came in.
Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Macho Man. I liked Macho Man more better as a good guy.
Be the opposite.
I don't know. I was just more introduced to him more as a good guy, so I guess maybe I feel that way because of that.
Now, when he came in, when he was a heel when he first came in, he was killing. Like what he did to Steamboat with the whole neck when he double axe handle from the top.
Crazy.
And then, see, the thing is, you wasn't there. You wasn't watching it at that moment. See, that was around that time was.
But I love his '88 run. I love like the year he was a champion in '88. He was He was on point. It was like nice to have like somebody else who wasn't Hogan be in that spot.
No, it was '89. He was champion. No. Yeah, '88. He won in '88. He lost in '89. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
He was a champion most of '88.
Yeah. He won at WrestleMania 4, lost it in 5.
Yeah. I remember this good-ass cage match he had with DiBiase at the Garden like a couple months after Mania 4. It was so good.
Now see this.
That was the one where a fan tried to climb in.
Yeah. Now see this. Now you're rewatching those and you're enjoying it. Great. Now this is why I'm trying to tell you why I find him better as a heel. Because I watched everything live and these moments. And that's when wrestling was having that blurred line, like, is it real, is it fake, is it real, is it fake? So what happened with Steamboat was, everyone was ooh, and everyone hated him. And when he turned face, during that time watching it, when he won the title, he didn't have a good run because everything involved with Hogan. When he won the title,
Not in the beginning. The first 4 months he was the champion, Hogan was gone filming No Holds Barred.
again, I don't know what are you seeing, because for what
Hogan didn't come back until the summer.
Yeah, but you also got to remember wrestling wasn't like how wrestling is now. Like even the Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings, they didn't air the champion as much. Like Hogan, like you would never see Hogan on Saturday mornings or Sunday mornings. Hogan would never appear. Macho Man was kind of the first that you would see here and there. But you're talking about he won it at WrestleMania 4. Hogan didn't come back to the summer. There was no pay-per-views between those times. There was maybe
there wasn't.
There were maybe a Saturday Night's Main Event here and there, and Elizabeth always had to leave to go get Hogan. He was always around and I can't. Stolly said, "Oh yeah, he didn't back to the summer," but every time Randy would fight, he would always get attacked, and she had to always go in the back and get Hogan. And SummerSlam came, and it was the Mega Powers against the Mega Bucks, and then Survivor Series came, and Macho Man would always be, you know how they have a tag team, one is the stronger one is the weak one. Macho Man was always the weak man between him and Hogan. SummerSlam, he gets the ass whip, and Hogan got to save the day. Survivor Series, I think Macho Man gets eliminated or something, or maybe no, they were the sole survivors, but Hogan had to take care of the show. You know, Royal Rumble, Hulk Hogan eliminates Macho Man in Bad News. It was always he wasn't champion because he had the belt, but Hogan was still the star.
Yeah, I guess kind of how like Cena was still the star when Punk was the champion for that 1 year.
Like, yeah, you can basically say that, because that's what made me pissed off of me hating Hogan even more, because I was always a fan of Savage, and when he finally got his title run, I was excited, but it came with Hogan. Like, and then they finally came out with the first video game, which for my claim was Wrestlemania, I think it was called, and it was Hulk Hogan on the cover without the belt, but he's ripping. Like, shouldn't Macho Man been on the cover since he was the champion? He was holding the title because Hogan went to go film the movie, but reality, Hogan was still there. What's that?
Yeah, basically, I'm not gonna lie, because that's how they always did it. Even with Warrior, they had to get Hogan was going to film Suburban Commando, so he had to drop the title to somebody in the meantime.
And it's so funny. I guess that because I'm sure they did more house shows than live TV at the time, because I get now why they would do it, because you gotta.
But I think the case with Macho Man is that right around the time of WrestleMania 5, he was selling out arenas consistently.
Well, I mean,
the headliner on, he was always selling out.
Well, here's the thing. If that's what they're telling you, that's what they're telling you. I'm not going to tell you, no, I wasn't at the arenas, right?
Oh, but I always heard he was broad. Like,
I know, but listen, I was excited of my favorite becoming champion. I'm not knocking his run. I'm just trying to remember the days when I was watching it, you know, as a kid, and Hogan would always be there. That's all I'm saying.
I like Savage's run in 88 better than Warrior's run in 90. I'll say that much.
Oh, I mean, I'm not going to argue with that, because, again, like I said, I love Savage being champion. All I'm saying is Hogan would always appear. You know,
I'm not the biggest fan of Hogan anymore, but I did like Hogan's 89 run. I did like that was actually my favorite year of Hogan was 89.
When he won the title. I think it was the second time he won the title.
Yeah, second time. Yeah. That 89, that whole year 89 was my favorite period of Hogan.
And then he lost it at WrestleMania 6. Got it back
at 7.
Lost it to Taker at Survivor Series, and then that's when this whole, you know, Royal Rumble with Flair came in. Yeah. Yeah,
that whole thing. Yeah, but I could tell by 91 Hogan was starting to get a little stale.
You know, it's funny, when you're counting titles, hey, do you prefer the wrestler having 16, 17 title runs, or a good solid 5-6 title runs?
5-6 title runs.
Yeah. I think Bret Hart's
title. You can't even keep track of all those. If they win the title that many times, you can't even keep track of them. And how special really were many of them if there were that many of them.
And you know, the funniest thing about it is, you know, Ric Flair won more than 16, right?
He probably did.
If I seen it on YouTube, it's like 22, because they were counting down the people who won the most titles. And Flair's not even number one. Someone else is number one. But it counted all his titles from AEW, not AEW, NWA, WCW, WWF. It came out to like 22 titles. They'll show you he won this many at this.
But does that include? Does that include like the Intercontinental title?
No. It was just the world titles. And then it's funny. I mean, Sting and Flair. They had an interview at the table for three, and they mentioned it. And then Flair was like, "Yeah, you know." He goes to Flair, 16. He goes, "How much it really is?" He's like, like 20, 22, I don't know, something like that. And I was just surprised that WWE aired this stuff because you're selling this whole 16 title run. I guess because no way in hell they see anybody winning 22 titles in this modern day era. Even though, why not? They lose it on Monday, they win it back Friday.
Yeah, actually, speaking of Savage in 88, Flair was supposed to come in during that time and face him at SummerSlam that year. They weren't supposed to do the Mega Powers and Mega Bucks. They actually really wanted to do Savage and Flair, but Flair ended up staying in Jim Crockett Promotions because he wanted to make sure that they could be sold to Ted Turner because he was their main guy.
Yeah, I heard when Flair stayed to be the booker, and that's when they were doing their best numbers when Flair became the booker. And
but that was around the time Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard came to WWF. It was around that time, right after that SummerSlam.
The Brainbusters was serious. I was a fan of them.
Yeah, they were dope. They were only there for like a year, but for that year they were putting in work.
The craziest thing, all these things that come to light now, is so funny to me because they would talk about how these pay-per-views will come to, why these pay-per-views happen, and it was to go against another pay-per-view. Like Survivor Series was supposed to go up against, because WC was Starrcade, right?
Yeah, Starrcade 87, yeah. They put on Starrcade they put on Survivor Series the same day as Starrcade to compete with them, and Vince said, if you carry Starrcade over WrestleMania, if you carry Starrcade over Survivor Series, you're not going to get WrestleMania. And WrestleMania was a proven commodity at that point, and Starrcade wasn't.
Yeah, because Survivor Series was after WrestleMania 3. So it was,
they everyone.
Yeah. And WrestleMania 4 was going up against, I don't know, was it another?
It was Clash of Champions.
Clash of Champions. And this is so funny that as a kid, just watching it, enjoying it, not knowing the meaning behind these pay-per-views.
They did it again in WrestleMania 5. For WrestleMania 5 also, they put the Flair-Ricky Steamboat match on Clash of Champions against the Hogan and Savage match.
And who drew more numbers?
I'd say probably Hogan and Savage. That WrestleMania did crazy in pay-per-view business.
Yeah, and you wasn't a fan of WrestleMania 5, right?
The whole show, not really. I mean, I love the main event, but the whole show, not really.
Yeah, I was a big fan of it.
Even like the first time I watched it when I was a kid, I liked parts of it, but just overall, I just say to myself, when is the Hogan and Savage match coming? When is the Hogan and Savage match coming?
I was a fan of it because I almost went to that one because it was in Jersey.
Or Atlantic City.
Yeah, and it was so much built around it. I remember I had the VHS. And that VHS is the one that was after that Royal Rumble, that when I told you they got cut off. Like later on, I just started taping all the other stuff. Like the Saturday mornings and Sunday, they would show what happened at WrestleMania. There would always be something that happened when they cut off. Like, I think I mentioned that. Like at the end of WrestleMania 5, they interviewed Elizabeth, meaning Gene Okerlund, and then Sherry came to talk trash to her about the better man didn't win. The Macho Man came and he grabbed Elizabeth by the arm, the wrist, and holding her down. And she's like, "You're hurting me, you're hurting me." And then Hogan came, and he was about to hit Elizabeth, and Hogan came and boom, tacked Macho Man. Then Sherry grabbed Hogan by the hair. Macho Man took a chair and just bam, smacked Hulk Hogan, and then they left.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I saw that before.
Yeah, that wasn't on the actual WrestleMania. It was like exclusive.
Yeah, also like SummerSlam 91 with the Savage and Elizabeth wedding the following Saturday on Superstar.
Oh, yeah, the snake.
The wedding reception when the snake came out.
Yeah. So I remember those great moments. I like the Rockers versus on the Twin Towers. That was one of my favorites.
That was fun.
I like the commentary. That's the day I learned what daydreaming was. What's daydreaming? He goes.
I like the Strike Force split up. That was very well done.
It's funny you say that. I wanted to go to the wrestling school, and they always have you like at the end of the night. They want you to go in the back. Like, okay, you're gonna wrestle you. You're gonna wrestle you. You're the heel. You're the face. So go and create the story. I want to tell that story because I know I thought that was great. It was well put together, and I want to do that. I want to be the Rick Martel of it, where you hit me and I fall over, and I act like I can't tag you because I'm just so hurt. But I would have changed it up where I would have came and I would have attacked you and then let the other team win and all. But that was a memorable moment.
And the Piper's Pit with Morton Downey Jr. and Brother Love.
Yeah. The whole smoking segment.
Yeah,
Run DMC was all over the place. I didn't
realize how popular that guy was back then.
Who? Robert Downey Jr.?
Morton Downey Jr. Yeah, he had like this crazy ass talk show. It was kind of like the predecessor to Jerry Springer.
Yeah, I remember that. It was the New York thing.
And then they had Run DMC there. That was pretty dope. Having Run DMC perform there.
That's when the Blue Blazer took on Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, they had that match. Warrior and Rick Rude was like a match I was kind of looking forward to, but the match itself, I can't say was that amazing.
All right, well, see, at the time, it was. I loved it, but, I mean, now looking back at it, understanding the structure of wrestling, yeah, it wasn't. I mean, Warrior did what. Now I can see it. Flair trying to do what. I mean,
the match they did at SummerSlam was very good, but that one I wasn't that crazy about. The one at SummerSlam was dope though. That was
or Piper coming and mooning him. That was a good SummerSlam. 89.
Yeah, so 89 is one of my top 5 favorites.
Yeah. Sean, what's his name? Sean Mooney was one of the announcers with Jesse the Body.
No, on SummerSlam or WrestleMania?
It was SummerSlam. It's the guy who's announcing for AEW.
No, Tony Schiavone. Not Sean.
Yeah, I know. I that's who I meant. I just said that name wrong.
You know what's funny? I feel like the way I am now, like where I call out like the people who support the Democrats no matter what, and like support any of these candidates no matter what, and never call them out on their bullshit. I feel like Jesse Ventura when he would always call out Hogan when Hogan would always cheat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm turning into Jesse Ventura now.
Jesse,
I'm the bad guy announcer that tells the truth that nobody wants to hear.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay, now I know what you're saying. Yeah. I get it. Yeah, like when you go back and look at it, yeah. Because Hogan was a cheater. He liked to rake the eyes and bite you and all.
And you'd be like, yeah, but when Hogan cheats, it's no big deal. But when Macho Man cheats, you always flip out and say it's a miscarriage of justice. Yeah. But whenever it's Hogan, it's okay.
Yeah, Jesse was a huge fan of Macho Man.
I could tell.
And I think they were close friends behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, he was close with Tito Santana also.
Did you hear the story of Hogan saying that he told Vince that he wants to turn heel on Warrior? Like
at WrestleMania 6, yeah, I heard that story.
Yeah, and he wanted to come back as the Triple H.
Yeah, but the thing is with Hogan, he's had so many instances where he turned out to be full of shit that you can't really take him seriously.
Well, from what I've learned from wrestlers, a lot of wrestlers talk a lot of shit. Ric Flair's another known liar. Triple H said it on the 30 for 30 special. He called him out.
That's more about his personal problems, like about him having a drinking problem, I think.
What's his name? Holly? Bob Holly is known to be a liar.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The one person I'll say isn't a liar, like even though I'm not the biggest fan of his, the one person I can say who is at least seems like he's honest is Shawn.
Shawn Michaels?
He seems like he's at least honest. Like, I'm not going to say I like to do, but he at least seems like he's not a bullshitter.
I don't know. I think that's what I get from him.
Really? No, I don't know. Like, even with like feud with Hogan, like if I had to say I would pick a side, I would say I'd maybe pick his side over Hogan's side.
I was They were talking about the Kliq. Who was talking about the Kliq? Something about the Kliq. It was Shane Douglas. You know Shane Douglas?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. He was talking about the Kliq, and he was saying how, you can see how conniving and, they get a kick out of, fucking with your careers. And he said the one thing I could honestly say, he'll say Kevin Nash should be doing some bullshit. Scott Hall does a lot of bullshit. Shawn Michaels. He said the only two that he don't really see anything out of that hang out with them, but kept it, you'll see them on the corner just, not trying to stir up any pot would be Triple H and X-Pac. He said those are the only two that...
Sounds about right.
Was that?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, he was saying that those are the only two that they're part of the Kliq, but there'd be the last one, like Shawn Michaels, and he said Scott Hall was big on, like, screwing people over and all.
Yeah, I mean, he wrestled a lot during that time.
I think Bam Bam was the one who said that. Because Bam Bam was I think Bam Bam was one of them who said that, and he was like, Scott Hall had came to ECW, and, he was talking trash about it, and, I forgot what it was, and he was like, he would have respected him more if he just came and apologized for what he did in the past, opposed to, yeah, whatever it is, what it is. And that's why a lot of people in ECW didn't want to fuck with him.
Yeah, he's always had that reputation for years. I mean, whether it be with the drugs or whether it be him being hard to work with or being somebody you can't trust. But it was really bad in WCW. Like in WCW is like where I heard like it was always like him and Nash and just that whole crew back then. You would always hear shit about as far as fucking people over just to make themselves look good.
Yeah,
but who knows? We weren't there.
Yeah, I know. Hardcore Holly he said that the Kliq had a reputation, but he had to shut them down ASAP. Like, you're not gonna pull this crap with me. That's the story he was telling. And then
he didn't have the stroke that they did back then, though.
But that's the thing that he was talking that he's like, he went up to Kevin Nash and said, "Hey, you're not gonna pull that crap with me." And then they all left me alone. And then they showed it to Kevin Nash, and Kevin Nash was like, "What are you talking about? Like, that shit never happened and all." And he goes, "Let's be honest. You heard about her reputation, right? If he said that to me, you think he would still be working in that company?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, that would make sense. Like, either
not when he was being Sparky Plug."
Yeah, exactly. And that's what he was at the time. He said it happened in Africa.
It's crazy, man. I mean, but to their credit, they were good. They were like the better part of the show during that time.
Who, Sparky Plug?
Nah, Sean Diesel.
Oh,
Razor.
okay. But here's the thing: they definitely were. But is it because they took all the TV time and didn't give anyone else a chance to shine, or they were just that good?
I think it might be more of them they're just that good, because let's be honest, look at the gimmicks they had during that time, like in '94 and '95, like Duke the Dumpster Droese, Atom Bomb, Mantar, Well Done, like all that bullshit they had back then.
The way the stars aligned, because those were the times where I didn't have cable and I couldn't keep up with wrestling, and I stopped.
That's when I first started watching. That was like my first full year of watching it.
I had no way of watching it. I tried to keep up with the pay-per-views, and it just, I stopped watching WrestleMania 10 was 94. Around that time, even before that, it was just, I would just see the like when I went to go. Well, I knew because of the Royal Rumble, but I was still confused with the whole Bret Hart and Owen Hart thing because I wasn't keeping up. And yeah, it wasn't until '97. Like I came back to watching wrestling because we ended up getting cable after the Montreal screw job. I didn't see that. I didn't know that happened because I started watching after, and the first pay-per-view I saw was the D-Generation X pay-per-view, and Shawn Michaels versus Ken Shamrock, and then Owen Hart attacked him afterwards. I was like, where the hell's Bret Hart? And when Sergeant Slaughter was taking on Triple H, and I was going for Sergeant Slaughter, Because all I know, I remember Triple H was this little prissy ass boy, and I know Sergeant Slaughter for the history, so I was going for Sergeant Slaughter, and I didn't know what the hell was going on, but it caught my attention because there was so much happening,
And then Austin came out with his truck and he beat up the whole Nation of Domination.
Yeah,
on it.
like all that. And then I get it, and I told you this before, your mom, before I even started watching it again, she told me, she was like, oh, you haven't watched it yet? Wait till you watch it. You're going to see this girl named China. She introduced me to China.
Oh.
And I was like...
Yeah, I made that shit religiously with me.
I was like, who's China? I want to see China. They always have some beautiful... Wait. She's China?
Oh, no. China did get hotter, though, as the years progressed, especially in 2000.
That's what happened when you got money.
Yo, 2000 China was very fucking pretty.
Yeah, she lost all the muscles and, I don't know. I mean, she got better, yes, but she was always a man to me, so I don't know.
Yeah, that 2000 women's roster as far as hotness was fucking top notch.
I believe that's what they were going for. I think it was they were calling themselves an ass or something like that. It was supposed to stand for athletes, smart, and sexy. I think that's what they were calling themselves ass. Okay.
Is fuck. Yeah. That's like when Trish and Lita first came in like that year too, and they like started feuding with each other right away.
That was one of the all-time best feuds, period.
Yeah, even their feud in 2000 when they were still new, they were killing it when they were having those 6-person tags.
Look at fully loaded. 2000 fully loaded. How it was TNA and Trish versus the Hardy Boys and Lita. And after the match, Trish whipped the hell out of with Lita with the strap. Later on, she goes and brings Val Venus. She's managing Val Venus for the Intercontinental Champion against Rikishi in a cage match. And then Lita comes out of nowhere with the strap and start whipping Trish Stratus. Let me tell you something. I watched that whole pay-per-view scrambled. You know, back in the days, the pay-per-views would be scrambled.
Yeah, I remember that.
All we would do was listening, and we were trying to change it back to get a little clip. I watched that whole.
I used to have to do that sometimes too.
What's that?
I used to have to do that for a few pay-per-views also.
I watched the whole pay-per-view on that, and then I had to.
I just lost my cable 3 days before that show.
Yeah.
Pissed.
And then that's when WWF New York was out, and I went to New York. I believe was it that was it was later on that summer I went, and that was and I went there to go get WrestleMania 2000 because that was the only WrestleMania I didn't have. And then the guy was trying to sell me he was trying to sell me on Judgment Day. That's when Undertaker made his return with the bike.
Yeah, you told me the guy was like saying, "Yo, get this one instead. This one's actually a better show."
Yeah,
and he was right actually.
No, he is right, but I mean, I cannot have all the WrestleManias and then that one. I don't care if this was the worst one. I need the collection.
Yeah, 16 was a letdown. For as hot as they were in 2000, that WrestleMania was a huge letdown.
They always do that because it's something like WrestleMania 10 to me was a letdown. I think 20 was good, but
why did you think 10 was a letdown?
I guess that was probably the transition of me starting to start watching wrestling. So I like the Owen and Brett match, and to me that was it. The ladder match was good, but what else?
I like Brett title at the end. That was probably my favorite part of the show.
That was a good moment, but was it a great match? I mean, Yokozuna is very good, but Lex Luger and I like the surprise. I like Mr. Perfect making a comeback. I like Roddy Piper making a comeback. But
those were cool. That was weird.
What else? Macho Man and Crush. That was an okay match. You know what else in the card was good?
Bro, you didn't like the mixed tag with Doink and Dink against Bam Bam and Luna?
No. And what about the black guys, the tag team title match?
Oh, the Men on a Mission against Quebecers? Yeah, that was whatever.
Yeah, that's
Yo, I'll say this: the Quebecers had a good match with the Head Shrinkers a few weeks after that on Raw, where they lost the titles to them. It was a solid match, actually.
Yeah. So tell me what else in that
match in Mania.
So tell me what else in that pay-per-view was good.
I guess those were the highlights, obviously, but I still enjoyed it. It was still a fun show for me, at least.
Yeah. Because again, it's it's probably took you to that moment. Like for me, WrestleMania 27 when it was out here, I loved it. And then when I went back to watch it, what's that?
28, you mean? 27 was in Atlanta.
Okay, 28. I loved it because it was my first WrestleMania. It was there. It was exciting. I mean, the Hell in a Cell was fucking awesome. But everything was great. And then when I went and I watched it over, I'm like, this is boring. Besides the Hell in a Cell, that still was, the match of the year.
Yeah, dude, I understand.
But it's those moments, which it's, sorry, which I tell that people all the time, like, I love going to comedy shows because being there live is so much, it is different. Like, when I went to see Chris Rock live, it's the one on Netflix. I couldn't stop laughing for nothing. I thought he was looking at me like I was a crazy person because I just had a cheesy smile the whole time. And I was in the front row. So I thought he looked at me like I was crazy. And then when I watched it here, it was still good, but it wasn't as same thing.
I get it.
Cat Williams, go see Cat Williams live if you haven't. As soon as he opened his mouth.
I will say my top two favorites of all time as far as Manias are 3 and 17.
17, unbelievable. 3 again, yes, it was awesome. But again, I'm not taking away from it because it was. I can still watch it to this day. But the memory I had of 3 was at my cousin's house in Long Island, and we were watching. It was started off in the daytime, watching the Can-Am connection, all that, the whole Piper retirement, and then we had to move to his parents' room because it got late, and it was a party going on. Somebody's birthday, I don't know. It was a party at the house, and we had to go into their parents' room to watch Hogan and Andre the Giant, and it was this. And then we said it, Macho Man and Ricky Steamboat. We said it that day. Wow, what a match! One of the greatest matches ever. And to hear
the first time I watched it was when I got the WrestleMania box set, and I got to WrestleMania 3, and I just watched the whole show from start to finish. I'm like, damn.
Oh wait, did you have that big box set?
Yeah, I got the box set.
Did you open up and then it went up to 14?
13. It went up to 13. This was before WrestleMania 14. It was around that time.
Oh, I had the 14 when it went to 14 and all. But yeah, it was like we said it, and just to hear people still say to this day, it was like that's how good that moment was. Where I mean, we said it. Nobody sold us that idea. No WWE network, no wrestlers. No one sold us the idea that Randy and Steamboat was a great match. We watched it and said, "Yo, this is an amazing match." And
yeah, that match was gold.
Oh man! And so this has been another amazing episode of the WEW Podcast. It's been a while, so I guess we made up for it by doing a 2.5-hour episode.
Yes, indeed.
And, we got to follow up, and I think the next one we should cover is Royal Rumble.
Sounds good to me. Looking forward to it, man.
All right. So before we go, who's winning the men's Royal Rumble?
Daniel Bryan.
Who's winning the female?
Rhea Ripley.
Okay. I want Bayley to win the female. I don't know maybe Big E.
Nah, he already has the IC title. I don't see him going for the Universal title right now.
I just threw it out there. I might, once we hang up, oh no, I met this guy, Oh, actually, I know who I want. I know it's not going to happen, and I know you're maybe not big. I want Bobby Lashley. I want him to go for the title.
I don't see that happening.
I know, but that's who I want. And if not, I want to finally see the Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar if Brock Lesnar really is coming back. Why are they not giving us that match?
That would be dope, but I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah, that's why they need to hire me already to be a writer and throw these ideas out there. But Kurt, once again, it's been a pleasure having a conversation with you. And
likewise, bro. Great talking to you again, man.
All right, man. Take care and be safe, and on to the next one. What's up, world? It's your boy DJ47. Thanks for tuning in to our YouTube page. If you like what you see, hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to us as we hit you with new videos every week. 1.